a month. Enter to win a new RV and enjoy family fun and on-site activities. Don't miss the Carolina RV Super Show at your local Camping World, May 15th through the 18th. Get all the details at campingworld.com/Carolina RV Super Show.
Snakes, zombies, sharks, heights, speaking in public. The list of fears is endless. But while you're clutching your blanket in the dark, wondering if that sound in the hall was actually a footstep, the real danger is in your hand, when you're behind the wheel. And while you might think a great white shark is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! Jarvis has it into the Washington zone. He'll wrap it around the boards. Orlov will get to it. Behind the net, Martinook. It'll come out. Right point. Slavin with a chance. They score! They score! In overtime! Jacob Slavin lets it go from the point, and Carolina has taken game number 1 here in Washington.
I was listening to that. This is the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria on the ones and twos.
We're here.
We are.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, that was fun last night.
Yep.
A lot of things were fun about it. We'll try to get as whatever. Who was up late?
All of us. Yeah.
Hey, real quick, because I like to bring all of you into my world as often as I can possibly do it without, revealing the intimate details. So I have, I've talked about my son who plays soccer, and he's, pretty good goalkeeper, whatever, and they were just in San Diego for a national event.
Mm-hmm.
So, but because we had no clue when the playoffs were going to fall, home games, blah, 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 I did not go. This is the first time. I've missed occasional games here and there, but I have not missed any, events. This is an event. So, because my wife has really not gone in any of these, I'm like, you're going.
Yeah.
You're going to go. And we got to a point where, we're struggling with all of it because there was a lot to accomplish before she leaves. And anyway, so she finally just, okay, I'll go.
Mm-hmm.
So they were out in San Diego. They were out there. They left last Thursday afternoon. We had no idea when everything was going to start.
No.
And they were supposed to come back last night. So.
Supposed to?
Yeah.
Did they not?
No, they came back last night.
Oh, okay.
But that was scheduled to come back last night. Anyway, the flight out of the connecting flight from Charlotte to Raleigh, because it was San Diego to Charlotte to Raleigh, which was supposed to originally take off around 10, was then delayed and was then not supposed to take off until around midnight. And then at midnight, I get a text. Aileen tells me she's going to, our flight's taking off at midnight. So I figure, all right, Charlotte to Raleigh, it's a short flight. It's like a 25-minute flight or whatever it is. I expected them to be on the ground and driving home around 1 o'clock. By the time they got their bags and got to the car, and I get a text from my son at 1 o'clock. We're driving. That's all it says. We're driving. So my brain is like, cool. So they're here. I was probably, just sort of done, finished packaging everything I needed to package for the podcast. I was probably up about a half hour later than I wanted, but I figured no big deal. And I was going to stay up and wait for them. And it's now 2:30.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
RDU to my house is not 90 minutes.
No.
It's at best, at that time of night, 40.
True.
Maybe.
Yeah.
2:30, I have nothing. I send a text.
Mm-hmm.
Everything okay?
Right?
No answer.
Oh, that's
I text my older son who was with them,
yeah.
and I'm like, are you home yet? He goes, no. We're 30 minutes from RDU. And I'm like, I know where you live. You don't live 30. What is going on?
So much confusion.
So what Jack failed to include in the initial we're driving was from Charlotte
Oh, no.
to Raleigh because that plane that was supposed to take off at midnight was canceled.
Oh.
And they could have stuck around till 4:30
Wow.
and taken the first flight out in the morning.
Yeah.
Or they decided to drive home, and they got home around 4.
Oh. Yikes.
Anyway, I was up till 3:30.
Right. Charlotte is definitely not 40 minutes away.
No.
Yeah.
So anyway, if for any reason today I nod off,
Yeah, that's why. People know. That's why. I'll do my best.
I might pay a lot if somebody would bring me a Celsius. Anyway, you don't have to do that. All right, we got obviously the energy from the game last night is still there.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. All right, I'm not sure everybody knows this, but the Hurricanes won the game
Yeah, they did.
last night. They picked up the win. Let's just start. Let's listen to Rod Brindamore on the game-winning goal by Jacob Slavin.
He's open, so he's not going to not shoot it. You know, I mean, that's kind of the thought behind it. And we got some traffic, and you know, I mean, you got to give. I don't know how many shot blocks they had, but they had a lot of blocks tonight. You know, that's why they're a good team. They're one of the best because they're willing to do that, and you have to know that going in, and you have to also not be deterred by that, and you just got to keep putting it there, and because they're not giving you much of anything else. So, you know, obviously, it wasn't the greatest of goals, but they all count.
They do all count, and I would argue that it was the most Keynesian goal that you could possibly score because it is part of the design. Better team won last night.
Mm-hmm.
You can measure it any way you want. The team Carolina got to their game first. Washington probably carried the play for about 5 minutes early in the second period. Other than that, it was all Carolina. But what I think that we should all understand is that it wasn't the complete game, I believe, that people are portraying it out to be. But I do think that because Carolina trailed until the middle part of the third period, and as Rod Brindamore will explain here, this is this is what happens when the Hurricanes stick to the game plan.
Well, I thought our guys played hard every shift, right from the start of the game, and I liked how we were playing. Obviously, we were down, but there's a certain game plan. Both teams have it. I thought we were on it tonight. Sometimes you don't get rewarded, but tonight we did.
Yeah, they did get rewarded. Now, here's the thing. This is what I kept hearing last night, and I hate to make this about the national broadcast, but I think it explains. Well, I don't think the national broadcast was bad. I love Sean McDonough, and I love Ray Ferraro. I am not complaining about them.
There's so much bias.
But I don't think it was biased, okay? I think that because they don't see Carolina on the day-in, day-out basis that we do, we understand why, at least I think I do, why that wasn't the complete performance that you believe it to be. Carolina did dominate the game, but they only dominated in 2 of 3 ways. They dominated in puck possession. It's what they do. They dominated in their defensive structure. It's what they do. By the way, the penalty kill is now 17 for 17 in the playoffs. And Was it a bad sign that the better team, because Carolina was the better team, was trailing into the middle of the third period? And I would simply say, are you watching hockey for the first time? Because it ain't the first time that the team that had the advantage throughout the game, in terms of possession, shot volume, all of that, it's not the first time that this has happened. We see it a lot in the NHL. Sometimes the team that isn't playing well just happens to bury a couple of chances and you're behind. I'm sorry, I forgot. Was Washington piling up goals?
Yeah.
They had one goal created by a Hurricane mistake, by the way.
Yeah.
Good play by Washington, but really a mistake on the part of Shane Gostisbehere, a mistake in a decision, and then a mistake in execution. And the execution part, you can credit Washington for creating the turnover. But Gostisbehere probably should have backed off. He had forwards there, probably should have backed off and let them handle it. They weren't going to keep the puck in the zone there anyway. Come back, play defense. You're dominating the game. No sense taking a chance there. They did, and they got burned by it. Great shot by Alexi Protas. But we need to stop pretending that the Hurricanes were at the height of their wizarding powers last night, like they were carrying around some elder wand and they somehow couldn't kill Harry.
I'm sure that makes sense. I haven't watched
Right.
Harry Potter.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Look, and I also heard this. I was listening to, and we're going to talk to Clinton Yates, right?
Yes.
I was talking to a reporter who covers the Capitals today. I was listening to Clinton Yates earlier. Was it rust? What? The Hurricanes were off longer than Washington by 1 day. There was no rust last night.
Stop.
The problem was that Carolina dominated the puck. Now, there are three elements to the Hurricanes game. There is the defending element, which admittedly, depending on whether or not Carolina dominates the puck, their defending element moves around the ice. Sometimes they are defending in the offensive end. Sometimes they are doing that in the neutral zone. By design, they don't do it as often in the defensive zone. But regardless of where Carolina was defending, they were really good last night, except for a couple of moments from Shane Gostisbehere, which we will discuss. So there's that element, and I think Carolina is as good as anybody in the league. I don't think they have the best blue line in the league. I think there are plenty of teams that have better blue line, but I think the way Carolina plays enhances their ability, and they have Jacob Slavin. Nobody else has Jacob Slavin. The other part of it is the most important part, is the possession of the puck. Carolina is the best in the league at possessing the puck. The best. That is not even in question. And I would just point to a couple of numbers that, shot attempts is how they, in general, measure puck possession. And Carolina is the best in the NHL at it. They are first. They are, however, and this will get into the part of the game that Carolina wasn't great at last night. How many, really good goal-scoring opportunities do you get out of your possession? So the Hurricanes are clearly the best in the league in puck possession. They're best in the league at generating grade A scoring chances. They are only sixth in the league at something called XG, expected goals. So it's not, if you're first in all of these, you would think you would be first in expected goals, but they're not, which means that there is something that is a little bit less when you take the possession and translate that into great scoring chances. We've seen this all year. Carolina isn't great at making those opportunities, turning them into grade A scoring chances. And here's what's even more glaring to me, in that in terms of high danger goals, and we're using natural stat trick numbers here, they're middle of the pack in the NHL. For all of their puck possession, they are 18th in the league at scoring off of grade A opportunities. They have the worst percentage of creating those into goals. You know who's got the best? Washington. Washington is at 11%. Carolina is at 7% over the course of a season. That is a significant number. So what Carolina was last night was 2/3 of great. And the last third, the third that creates the actual goals, they were kind of just okay. And I'm not sure why that was so difficult to comprehend, because here's what I want people to do. Go back and think about the great saves that happened in the game. Logan Thompson didn't have to make any great saves. I'm not saying he didn't make good saves. He did. He made a bunch of good saves. And he certainly had more opportunities to allow goals than Frederik Andersen, who only saw 14 shots. But I would submit that Andersen had the two best saves of the game. The one on Alexander Ovechkin on the power play that went through Tom Wilson that had to be a good save. And then the one on Anthony Beauvillier after the Capitals had made it 1-0 in the second period. I thought the best moment of Washington creating their own chances all night happened on the Beauvillier try, and Andersen made a great blocker save. Those, to me, were the two best saves of the game. The other best scoring chance of the entire night was Shane Gostisbehere setting up Ryan Leonard. Not a teammate of yours, Shane. Careful. Late in the third period, for a breakaway that, Sean Walker defended well, because by defending it well, he made it more difficult for Leonard to keep control of the puck, which he didn't. But Andersen was on it. I think Andersen makes the save, even if Leonard can maintain control of the puck. Either way, those are the three most dangerous scoring opportunities, and Andersen was 2 for 2, plus help from his defense and the opposition. Logan Thompson didn't have to stand on his head to make, was it 31 shots on goal? I don't remember the total shot total.
Yeah.
But to allow just 2 goals.
The posts kept getting in the way.
I think it was 4 posts.
Yeah.
I counted 4. On the broadcast, they said 5.
They kept going back to, 4 or 5.
Right. Svechnikov hit 2 crossbars. Jarvis had looked like the crossbar and the post junction. And Shane Gostisbehere in the first period. That was probably the most solid one off the post. But, 4 posts. Look, here's the thing about it. And we'll get to Freddie in a minute. Will Washington be better in Game 2? Because this is what I hear. Well, it's as good as Carolina was. They were still trailing, and they were lucky to win the game. Washington will be better in Game 2. I assume they will. I also assume Carolina will be better in Game 2. No, maybe not. Maybe Carolina won't be better in Game 2. But I think there is room for the Hurricanes to be better in a significant way than they were in Game 1. I don't know why that is a foreign concept.
I know that the head coach of the Capitals, Spencer, he's mad. If you saw his post-press conference.
Right, I did. I watched it.
They're getting chewed out, I'm sure, or did.
Well, Washington practiced today. Carolina did not. Carolina will skate tomorrow night, I'm sure. We don't know about Mark Jankowski, by the way. Look, Washington can play a lot better. But how much of Washington playing the way they played was Carolina getting to their game first, and when they do that, they really make it hard. And Washington, the games that I have seen the Hurricanes and Capitals play, and I have seen all 4 of them this year, even the game that Carolina lost in a shootout at the end of the year, for the most part in that game, I thought the Hurricanes outplayed Washington until the Capitals got a little traction. Physicality wore Carolina out a little bit, and we end up in a shootout. And the Carolina's not allowed to win shootouts. Kidding, it's them. They don't have those types of players apparently, so they lose the shootout. But in the game here, man, the Hurricanes skated circles around Washington. Carolina's speed and the way they play is really difficult on Washington.
Yeah.
There's a reason why the Hurricanes were a pretty substantial favorite in a series in which they did not enjoy home ice advantage. They were favored in the game last night. Again, I see these two teams as being even, and styles make fights, because if Carolina doesn't get to their game first, Washington is going to make it hard on the Hurricanes. So I'm fully aware that Game 2 could look dramatically different from Game 1. But if Carolina gets to their game first, the Hurricanes have another level to get to as well.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the Hurricanes missed the net on almost all of their really good scoring chances, because a lot of them were tips. Some of them were one-timers that were just shot wide. And again, they did hit the post 4 times. Frederick Anderson, I mentioned, made, I thought, the 2 best saves of the game. I thought Logan Thompson was good. Quick, Aho, Svechnikov, Blake, that line didn't get on the score sheet, but this is why I say, and when I talk to Rod Brindamore about this, or Trip Tracy about this all the time, the Andrei Svechnikov specifically doesn't have to be on the score sheet to have a great impact in the game. He had no scoring points last night, and if you wanted to tell me that Andrei Svechnikov was the best player in the game, I wouldn't really argue with you. The answer really is Jacob Slavin, but if you wanted to tell me that Andrei was the best player in the game last night, okay, I'm fine with it. We do 3 stars. I didn't give him one of my 3 stars, but I gave him my player of the game. Andrei had 6 hits. He had 12 shot attempts. He was a pest. He got under the skin of whether it was Tom Wilson and so did Sebastian Aho, by the way. Those 2 guys specifically, and Jackson Blake's always good, but Aho and Svechnikov specifically were excellent last night because they were dealing with the Pierre-Luc Dubois, Tom Wilson, Connor McMichael line that has been very good offensively for the Capitals, not only in the playoffs, but over the course of the regular season. And combined, that trio had 3 shot attempts and 1 shot on goal. Combined.
Mm-hmm. Love to see it.
Yeah. Aho was excellent in all phases of the game. Svechnikov was his annoying self to the opposition, and Aho was as well. I do appreciate Tom Wilson taking Sebastian's
I was going to
mouthpiece.
say, at least he didn't get annoyed with that little move.
He just laughed.
I know he did.
He just
and then
laughed.
he washed it off on the sidelines and then gave it back.
Sort of washed it off. I would boil
that. Yeah.
Sebastian, but
Game 2?
whatever.
Expect that more.
It's not like he's really using it to protect his mouth. He's just using it. Just chew gum. Just chew gum.
I mean, Rod's got plenty.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, Alexander Ovechkin also had just 1 shot on goal.
That's it.
The entire game.
Except on Jarvie. They got a shot there.
That was their best.
Yeah.
That was their best sequence.
Yeah.
Carolina, again, other than the Mark Jankowski, I think it's an injury. I don't know. It might be an illness, really, to be honest. He left the game, didn't play the end of the second period, didn't play in the third. I think on the road is where you need him. I'll say this quickly. I said it on the podcast last night. Kane's Corner podcast, available wherever you get your podcast. Download it. Subscribe to it. I would put Tyson Jost in if Jankowski can't go. Not Jack Roslovic. On the road, Roslovic will be targeted. Jost has a better chance of dealing with it. That's what I would do. I don't think the head coach takes my advice. Real quick. Edmonton rallied to win in Vegas. I think they were down 2-0. Mark Stone scored twice. Vegas tied it up, I think, in the second period. Zach Hyman scored late to give him a 3-2 lead. I forget who scored the empty net goal. Doesn't really matter. Maybe Connor Brown. I think it's Connor Brown maybe had the empty net goal. Anyway, 5 straight games Edmonton has scored after falling behind.
Exactly.
That's an NHL playoff record.
It's crazy.
Leafs, Panthers tonight. And I'll just say this. I heard yesterday about how Toronto really took it to Florida. They did. Toronto was good. Toronto was better than the Panthers. But the real way they were better than the Panthers was Sergei Bobrovsky wasn't great.
Yeah.
And if Florida is going to win this series, they're going to need a much better version of Sergei Bobrovsky than they got in Game 1. By the way, remember Anthony Stolarz, who left the game with clearly a concussion in Game 1? Well, he wasn't on the ice for the morning skate today. So there was some speculation yesterday that, he could play.
Yeah.
Not going to play.
I'm glad they listened to our show because we talked. We tried to tell them.
So infuriating that we just ignore bruised brains all the time. So Stolars won't play. It'll be Joseph Wall tonight. Dallas at Winnipeg tonight. Jason Robertson is back. Miro Heiskanen is not yet back. They do expect him back in this series. And we now have a new nickname for the Utah Hockey Club. It is the Mammoth. And I dig it.
Yeah.
I dig the logo. I would have been cool with Utah Hockey Club, right? But Mammoth, yeah. Mammoth is cool.
I like it.
And the logo is cool. I think the uniform colors are also great.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of blue.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of dark blue.
You could do more with your merchandise if you actually have like a mascot.
Right. Exactly.
And you're not just words.
So I don't know what I'm sure the mascot's going to be a mammoth.
Yeah.
Be a pretty big mascot, but no, good. That's very cool. I'm glad we got something a little bit different. I'm glad we didn't get like ice ponies or something stupid like that because whatever.
Yeah.
So the Utah Mammoth is coming to an NHL arena near you. All right, when we come back, ESPN Radio, ESPN.com contributor Clinton Yates will join us. He's a Caps fan. Get his take on last night. Next.
Chapel Hill to Charlotte, Greenville to Greensboro. Your sports, his state. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. We're in the offseason, but it doesn't mean me and my co-host, WREL TV's Chris Lee, take a break from our podcast, Panthers Playbook. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Panthers news as training camp approaches, insights on the rookies, the free agents, and the surprises, plus all the insider info on the upcoming season. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcast or watch on YouTube.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. We're in the conference semifinals in the NBA playoffs. By the way, and you would know this if you had the FanDuel app, road teams are 5-0 so far in round 2. Knicks plus 400 on the road. Nuggets plus 385 away from Denver right now. Interesting. Great value there. New customers can get $200 in bonus bets when you place your first $5 wager. Take a shot. Get $200 of their money to play with after that. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold, official sports betting partner of the NBA. FanDuel. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Make your next tailgate more electric when you plug into a new Ford F-150 or Super Duty truck. Not only do they light up the scoreboard with outstanding payload and towing numbers, with available ProPower on board, you can turn these Ford trucks into mobile generators to give your tailgate party an extra boost of energy. Visit your Carolina Ford dealer or buyfordnow.com for great offers and to learn more about F-150 and Super Duty. See owner's manual for important operating instructions.
Carolina Baseball hosts the NC State Wolfpack this weekend at Boshamer Stadium for a 3-game matchup. This series begins Thursday, May 8th at 6 p.m. The first 750 fans in attendance will get the last trading card pack of the 2025 Diamond Heels. The second game of the series is May 9th at 6 with fireworks and Michael Busch bobblehead night. The series finale and senior day is Sunday, May 11th at 1 p.m. Tickets for this rivalry series are going fast, so get your tickets today at GoHeels.com.
Are your monthly bills keeping you up at night? Worried about your finances in these crazy times? Hey, it's Dennis Cox for Loan Pronto. If you're like most people, you have racked up a sizable amount on your credit cards, and the monthly payment is not making a dent in it. It's time to call Loan Pronto. If you own a home, you have a super easy way to get tens or even hundreds of thousands in cash. Loan Pronto has lots of options for helping you tap into the equity in your home and get the cash you need to get back on solid footing. Most homeowners who do this end up wiping out all their credit card debt and cutting their monthly expenses by $1,000. Look, you didn't mean to end up here, but you don't have to keep stressing about money. Call Loan Pronto for fast debt relief now. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Again, the website, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Find mom's best gift at Target. Now through Mother's Day, get up to 40% off gifts for her. Discover trendy apparel and swimwear that'll elevate any wardrobe. Jewelry that'll make her smile shine brighter, and even chocolate that'll turn any moment into something sweeter. There are endless options to choose from to show her she's the best. Hurry! Save 20 to 40% on select apparel, jewelry, chocolates, and more this Mother's Day only at Target. Restrictions apply.
One Adam. Gold. One Adam. Gold.
I'm really excited about next season, considering this was supposed to be a rebuild year. But with these new guys, like Bradley Nadeau, we've got Nikishin coming eventually. If we've got Hall still here, Jackson Blake, I mean, there's so much promise and potential. I'm super excited for that.
Yeah, and just wait till the big kid gets ready to play.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria is on the ones and twos. Shouts to Bob and Carrie, not on I-70 driving cross country to visit his kids. He hits me up on the podcast a lot or through email about the podcast a lot. And I just wanted to give him a shout out. I got a detailed email about things that he appreciates about what we do on the Canes Corner podcast after every Hurricanes game. Do yourself a favor and subscribe to it so it shows up automatically in your podcast feed. Clinton Yates from ESPN Radio. He is based in L.A. He does a ton of radio. He is old school radio, and he is also you are old school radio, sir. I appreciate that. I absolutely appreciate it because I am also old school radio. And I know you are a native of the D.C. area. So let's talk about last night. I know you had a reporter, Tariq El-Bashir, I believe, who covers the Caps. You had him on today. So thoughts on game one, sir?
Well, quickly, I want to take you guys, behind the curtain real quick. So yesterday, Scott Van Pelt tweeted out, should I wear a jersey with my name on the back of it to the game today, or is that bozo behavior? And I hit him up. I was like, that is absolutely bozo behavior. I'm sure it was given to you, but you can't wear that. He didn't end up wearing it, but he did go to the game. And I want to ask you, do you wear jerseys with your name on the back of them, even if they are gifted to you?
I do not wear jerseys, period.
Okay.
So
right, fair enough. I'm in the same boat. I mean, I wear jerseys occasionally, but no, there's no world in which I would have my own name on the back of a jersey, even if I was going to see the team I rooted for.
I do have a Durham Bulls jersey with my name on the back, which I did wear when I threw out the first pitch. I don't know how many years ago that was.
Yeah.
But no, otherwise I do not own a jersey.
Fair enough. Shout to the Durham Bulls. I have thrown out a first pitch there as well. But one of the things I was talking to Tarek about was, and this is something that is a kind of a general analysis, but it is something that I think is very real, particularly in the playoffs, was that, he was there, he was covering it. He said, you just never felt from the moment the puck dropped that the Caps are going to win this game. And that is the kind of energy that I feel that they're going to have to find a way to reclaim, particularly on home ice, the Capitals, that is, because Carberry is still a guy who is relatively young in his coaching journey. Yeah. I mean, you look at him up against a guy like Rob, and listen, I'm old enough to remember when Rob played. You know what I mean? So the identity of that team being a lot of what he's about, I think is really one of the best things going about Carolina right now.
There is no question. The culture that he has established, now it's 7 straight years in the playoffs. Now they have not gotten ultimately to where they want to be. A lot of that is their roster is not as stacked. Like we watched the teams in the West. You watch Edmonton, who has 2 of the best 3 players on earth, or Colorado that has maybe the best player on earth right now in Nathan McKinnon. Dallas is loaded, including our old friend Mikko Rantanen out there. So Carolina doesn't have that level of talent, which sometimes is forgotten. I think you're right about the Capitals. They never got their footing in the game last night. I think the first 5 minutes of the second period was the best they had to offer. They got a goal out of it, and they got another great scoring chance after that, but Freddie Anderson turned that aside, and from that point on, the rest of the game was played on the Hurricanes' terms. And I think Carolina's got another level to get to, because I didn't think Carolina. Okay. Yeah, I don't think Carolina was good offensively. I thought they had the puck a lot, but they didn't generate. Like, I don't remember any Logan Thompson saves from the game. He played well. I'm not saying he didn't, but I don't remember anything that went, oh my gosh, how did he get to that?
Right.
And I think that's what Carolina didn't do.
Manner. Yeah, no, and I think that's in a weird way sort of a bellwether for both teams. If you're the Caps, you say, okay, look, you weathered this storm, and I don't mean to use that pun. I know you guys use it down there a lot, but you only lost in overtime. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like this was some blowout matchup, and they were never really in this. So I think that's if you are a Capitals fan, which I am, that's how you got to look at this. If it took that much of an effort and all that happened was a one goal loss that happened to be in overtime, then maybe you've got a chance if you can get your head in the right space. But also, if you're the Canes, you say, well, there's got to be a way to play better than that, because that was, about as ugly as a performance as you're going to see against a team that we know has a pretty high ceiling.
Oh, no doubt about it. Clinton Yates, by the way, is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show at Clinton Yates. If you are listening locally here in Raleigh, his show flows right into this, apart from like a 6-minute commercial gap, because bills need to be paid. And I know. Look, I dig the fact that you are old school about radio. I dig the fact that you take phone calls. We don't do that here because I'm not sure how many people are interested in what I have to say or in interacting with me on a voice-to-voice basis. Right. This has been a great year, though, for the Capitals, and I still think this is a long series. I think we're going to be here. I think we're going to Game 7 a week from this past Monday because I think these two teams are very evenly matched. But it's been a great year that this team has kind of ridden Alexander Ovechkin, but I think the pieces around him have really carried him, even though he was scoring a bunch of goals.
Right. And to that point, though, I do think there's something to be said for, the way that all happened with Ovi, which was, is he going to get to the record? Is he going to manage to do this before the playoffs actually start? So this isn't hobbling over everybody's heads. It's kind of this weird next year thing. The fact that it happened, and it happened with enough, runway, if you will, for this team to sort of galvanize and get after, get together with each other and then get into the playoffs. And then kind of, again, the playoffs started with a bang for the Capitals. I think they were kind of due for a letdown, to be quite honest. I mean, the human body can only do so much. And you know as well as I do that the tough part about getting through the Stanley Cup playoffs is keeping that even keel. Mm-hmm. There was no world in which the Capitals were even keeled. They were riding high for a real reason because, a record was broken that nobody ever thought we would see broken. That next series against the Canales, the first series starts against the Habs, and they win the first game in overtime. So it's like everything was all sort of bubbling over. So I feel that first game against the Canes back at home, sure, you're on your home ice, but there was something had to give. And that deflator happened in Game 1. And I think, Carolina did a great job for that matter, in terms of making sure that the Caps understood what their game plan was going to be.
Clinton Yates is joining us here. I remember watching that Washington-Montreal Game 1 of that series, and I believe it was at the face-off circle in the offensive zone, and I'm not sure who was doing the game. It might have been Sean McDonough, who said Alexander Ovechkin, for all of the things he's accomplished in his career, has never scored an overtime goal in the playoffs, and he scored on that sequence. And I thought Sean McDonough has seen a copy of the script, and he knows exactly what's coming next. But that was a great play because I thought at that point Montreal rallied from 2-0 down in the third period. That was a pivotal game for the Capitals.
Was huge. Yeah, it was huge. I mean, the record aside, or not the record, but the sort of breakthrough aside for Ovi, it was absolutely monstrous. And, they ended up finishing top in the, they didn't get the President's Trophy, obviously, but they were top in the Eastern Conference. And I think that was one of those things where we just sort of thought, oh, right, there's a whole other team here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They've actually got a chance to make a run here. So I think that, listen, I'm not going to make the declaration that whoever wins this series is going to win the Stanley Cup. I don't think we can do that right now. There's too many talented teams. But I do think that this is probably most likely where you're going to see your Eastern Conference representative come out of. I mean, the Canadian teams are good, but The way that the toughness of Carolina looks and the talent that the Caps have, I think either one of these teams could do well after they get through with this series.
Well, I hope you're right. I think that Florida, if they get
Florida's a good team.
If they get better Sergei Bobrovsky, I think Florida is the best team in the entire league. All right, let me ask you this, because I know we only have a couple of more minutes here, and I was going through your timeline real quick before I get to some hoops in a minute. You were tweeting about the Champions League. Yesterday's Inter-Barca game was drunk. Absolutely drunk. Stoned, that game. I can't even describe. For people who haven't seen it, they're like, Inter looked like they won it, then Barca looked like they won it, and then Inter scores right at the end to force extra time. And then they win it.
It was like three separate games in one,
Insane.
And that's what made it so crazy. And that's kind of the beauty of soccer. I feel like this particular Champions League has been extra special at that too. There's been some really quality performances where it's not just the makeup of the sort of classic clubs. We've got some actually super fun tilts, and yesterday was no different. I couldn't believe it. I was like, I'm texting back and forth with my boys, and it's like everybody's like, okay, well, I guess it's over. All right, well then by the end it's just all caps, nonsensical words. People just jamming the keyboard. It was fantastic. Great day.
It was tremendous. Jan Sommer, Inter's goalkeeper, made 4 of the most incredible saves I've ever seen. Finally, are the Warriors in great shape, or are they done? They win game 1 on the road, but now they don't have Curry. Who knows how long he's out? Your thoughts on that?
I think that's really tough. It's really tough, I think, from a matchup standpoint, because Curry is not even he's the whole thing. And the production is one thing. But the psychological element of having Steph Curry is as much as an advantage as anything he's going to do from a basketball standpoint, because if he starts heating up, there is a true demoralization factor that happens when that guy gets going. And so not only for him to be out, but potentially be hobbled when he does return, I think that's the worst part. I mean, that guy, he moves around the court better than anybody has in the era of basketball that we're in terms of his off-ball movement, in terms of what he does defensively. And for a hamstring strain to catch him up, it makes sense. The guy runs all the time. Yeah. He ran 2 miles on the court in Game 7 against the Rockets. So it's unfortunate because, he's an older player. We're not going to get necessarily to see a bunch more entries from him in these playoffs. And I think it's a real problem for the Warriors, and there's no way around that.
I mean, I remember watching that scrawny kid run around in a Davidson uniform that looked like it was his older brother's. And it's hard to believe that guy is to me, easy top 10 all-time player in the league. He is the greatest shooter we've ever seen. He's a better point guard than people give him credit. He is just an incredible player and a winner. My gosh, it is just amazing to me that guy, and we watched him right here because the coming out party was against Georgetown in that NCAA tournament in Raleigh.
Oh, we remember. Those of us Warriors fans are well familiar with how that went down. I talked to my homie David Dennis Jr. all the time, who was at Davidson when Curry was there, and he talked about those days like it is literally the greatest time of his life. But I do want to say overall, you're exactly right about Curry. I mean, whether or not people want to have people on their goat mountains or whatever you want to call it, the bottom line is that I don't know that anybody has ever made me feel the way that I feel when I watch Steph Curry play. We did this thing for ESPN where they asked a bunch of the on-air personalities what our top 5 teams of all time were back when The Last Dance came out. Right. And I put the 15-16 Warriors team, the team that did not win the title, as my number 1 team because I said, it's the best basketball team I ever saw. I don't care about the rings. Did you watch that? Do you remember that? And Steph Curry was a huge part of it, and that's basically where I'm forever going to stand on it.
Clinton Yates from ESPN, at Clinton Yates on Twitter. I thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate it. I appreciate your old school treatment of the craft of radio.
I really appreciate that. And, listen, somebody's got to keep it alive. It is the most intimate form of media we have. Appreciate you.
Hey, take care. I'll talk to you again.
Yep.
Clinton Yates here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, we're going to take a break, and we have one-timers coming up on the other side. You are always welcome to go to YouTube, search Adam Gold Show or 99.9 The Fan. Either way, you'll get to us. and leave your little questions there in the chat box. People do that when I do the Canes Corner podcast.
Mm-hmm.
They leave the comments. We have gotten into just shouting out where they are.
Yeah, we've had that too.
So
I know Chris is throwing shade because I haven't watched Harry Potter. Sorry, Chris.
It's all right. No,
Harry Potter is not. I mean,
have you seen Star Wars?
Yeah, but it wasn't my choice.
Okay. No, I mean,
but Harry Potter, I can always go backwards and just watch it a little later in life.
There's no difference.
I'm not against it.
The difference between Harry Potter and Star Wars is that there are no Star Wars books. The Harry Potter books are great. Really, really great books. Better than the movies. And obviously the movies are easy to consume because it's, 2 hours and they're on every day.
Yes.
Every
all the time.
Day. All right, one-timers next.
Chapel Hill to Charlotte, Greenville to Greensboro. Your sports, his state. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. The NBA Conference semifinals are here, and even though we are without a king, no more monarchy in the NBA playoffs, we are still ready for you. And FanDuel, for new customers, $200 in bonus bets await when you place your first $5 wager. You don't even have to win it. How good is that? FanDuel.com/AGS. FanDuel.com/AGS. The NBA Conference semifinals in full swing. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
It's not about the cars, the speed, the action. It's not about the party or the long weekend. It's about them. The ones that gave everything. This Memorial Day weekend, we honor the fallen at America's Home for Racing.
The 66th running of the Coca-Cola 600.
Imagine a school where you can study AI and ancient Egypt, become a National Honor Student, join a cooking club, or code the next big video game, and do it all in a comfortable space. Your own home. Welcome to NC Cyber Academy, a K-12 tuition-free virtual charter school that provides you with a flexible, personalized education designed to prepare you for college and a career. Visit myncca.com and discover a learning experience that works for you, your family, and your future.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, you're more than a policy, you're family. With offices in every county, we're close by when it matters most. Our local agents customize coverage to fit your life. And our award-winning claims team delivers fast, quality repairs. It's no surprise Forbes ranked us the #1 auto insurer in America. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Every day, people battling addiction suffer in silence. Because of stigma, they fear judgment. They fear being labeled, and too often, they don't get the help they need. But you can help change that. Join the Governor's Institute and be a superhero in the overdose battle campaign. Learn how to break the stigma, support those in need, and save lives. Visit governorsinstitute.org/superhero to get involved. Be a hero, fight stigma, save a life.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Chocolate lovers are going absolutely bananas over our new Bluebell Banana Fudge. Rich milk chocolate ice cream swirled with a scrumptious banana-flavored ice cream. Your favorite banana fudge bar, now in a carton.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
My Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take.
But early detection allowed us to take control of the situation together.
Talk to your family about seeing a doctor. Go to alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
This is Adam Gold.
And I did have to use two screens at one point, or a couple of points, and I don't like it. I can't watch two games at the same time.
There's a lot going on.
I'm sorry. I'm incapable of doing that. Because there were times where, I forgot this other game was on in front of me.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria is on the ones and twos. We thank Clinton Yates for his time. Chip Patterson will join us next hour because it is a Wednesday. Coming up at 2:15, John Forslund will check in with us. We got a lot to do.
It's a fun Wednesday, a.k.a. Hump Day.
Hey, look. Mike.
Right.
So, the game put us, I think, all in a good mood last night, even if I'm sleep deprived, but that's fine.
Okay. Sometimes we got to sacrifice
had
it.
Really nothing to do with the game.
Yeah.
7 o'clock start tomorrow night as well, which means it's a 6 o'clock pregame show for those of you listening locally in Raleigh. And if you're listening out, whether it's in Asheville or out at the beach in Wilmington, first of all, thank you. Secondly, you are more than welcome to partake in the pregame show. It just starts at 6. You just got to jump online and stream it.
Yeah.
Just that simple.
Yeah, it's easy peasy.
All right.
Lemon squeezy.
Let's do one-timers.
Okay, so I will kick off things. Justin from the YouTubes actually put this question in earlier, but we didn't get to it. However, it could be relevant for today. So he said that you seem pretty high on the Panthers. Are there any kinks in their armor looking at the Lightning series that they had? And, of course, we have the game tonight. The Florida Panthers.
I was
hockey.
thinking
Not Carolina Panthers, not mine.
Yeah. Here, to me, are the potential pitfalls for Florida. One, it's really hard to win twice in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Tampa's done it. Kind of weird circumstances around both of their championships, by the way. And I'm not taking anything away because I think they were the best team in the NHL. But bubble hockey, that's weird. The next year was that strange season, crazy pandemic central. But and a lot less fans are involved in the whole thing. But they were the best team, so I'm not really... the first one is a little weirder because there are no fans involved. And everything was neutralized. But other than that, it's just hard to win 2 years in a row. And they have had some injuries. But they're going to win if Sergei Bobrovsky is better than he was in Game 1. That's the reason why Toronto won. In my opinion, the first goal, the third goal, the fourth goal, a better version of Bob, none of those go in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying Toronto wasn't good. Toronto was the better team. But that ain't 4-1. I'm not saying, Florida might not have scored the goals they scored. Because I think the game is played totally differently if it's a little tighter. But Sergei Bobrovsky being the best version of Bob, I don't think Florida's losing.
Yeah. All right. Well, this one next up from Billy. You'll love this. It's football with the feet question. So, is it Inter versus Barca? Is that how you say this?
Barca.
Barca was
Barca.
Crazy. See, I don't
Yeah,
know.
it was nutty.
Awesome. Who do you think advances to face Inter in the final?
Ooh, that is Arsenal playing away to PSG. PSG has a 1-0 lead. They won at Arsenal 1-0. And I think they scored in the first 15 minutes of that match and then held on. Arsenal was probably better in the last half, maybe a little bit more than the last half of the game. But PSG was so much better than them in the first 25 minutes, they could have been 2-0 up. I think PSG might be the best team in the world. I think they're amazing. I'd love to see Arsenal go there and take them into extra time, but I think PSG is the best team.
Okay. Well, we will stick with football with the feet before we get to maybe a Canes question or two. Next up, thoughts on Charlotte FC's domination of NCFC.
I was going back and forth with Will Palashik earlier today. That game was 0-0 into extra time. Remember, you got to advance. So they're going to play extra time, and then if it's still tied, they're going to penalties. And all of a sudden, Charlotte scored, and I think it was the 97th minute. NCFC equalized immediately, and then the Crown put up three more goals. Ended up being 4-1. I'm like, well, that escalated quickly. Look, they brought on some of their better players. Patrick Aubameyang came in. He's a U.S. men's national team caliber goal scorer, and they brought him on, and he scored immediately. So good for CFC. They advanced.
Yeah. Okay, so back to hockey. There was some news that was officially broken yesterday about the Greensboro Gargoyles.
Yes.
So next up, thoughts on the Greensboro Gargoyles
They're
being
awesome.
the Canes ECHL team.
It's good to have your ECHL team close. You're not going to call anybody up from there probably, but it's cool just for, kind of building a fan base for it. So you'll get some connection. Probably not going to have a lot of prospects there. And I hope your head coach will be Eric Cole. But I don't know. I haven't gotten a call to verify his resume. I haven't gotten that. All right, we'll run it back. A little hockey talk. Basketball, too.
From the heels
Touchdown, Carolina.
to the Canes.
She scores!
He covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friend Gordon Miller, Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road in Cary. Timing is everything, right? When you're looking for a job, maybe meeting that special someone, timing is everything. It shouldn't be when it comes to getting a mortgage. You should simply play the game the right way. The Miller Lending way. Gordon Miller invented the no closing cost mortgage in 1987, brought it to the Triangle in 1996, so you don't have to worry about, well, is the rate low enough? Can I do this? Just get your mortgage, because you need the mortgage. You're buying a house. You need to refinance, maybe pull some equity out of the home, pay bills, college fund, take a vacation, whatever, home renos. And then, when the rates come down, you refinance free of charge, lowering your monthly payment, and still don't pay a dime in closing costs. That's the game. Miller Lending on Kildare Farm Road in Cary. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS ID 250-2146.
Let's go! It's the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Aho now to Jarvis. Jarvis, go get the Giants.
Let's go, Canes!
The Chetkov, stop! It's on the goal line behind him! He does a snow angel in the paint!
Go, Canes!
Playoff hockey in Raleigh is something that you can't describe, and it's because of you. So we want to be here.
The Canes' road to the Stanley Cup runs through us. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle sports leader.
Hear that? That's the sound of digital instants from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With instant wins, progressive jackpots, and bonus games right from your phone. It's nonstop chances to win like you've never seen or heard before.
Oh, yeah! Big money!
Visit nclottery.com to get in on the action. Must be 18 to play. See prize and odds charts at nclottery.com/digital-instants for details. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
It's bow time. Yep, it's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time.
Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes Dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned, Cajun-fried, whole breast tenderloin fillets. Choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's Bo time.
If you see a student being bullied, be supportive. Ask if they're okay and invite them to join you. You'll be an ally and you can make a friend. Friendship! Visit StopBullyingSpeakUp.com and join Cartoon Network to redraw your world without bullying.
The Carolina RV Super Show is coming to you. Join us at any Camping World in North Carolina or South Carolina, May 15th through the 18th, to shop ridiculous discounts on the best selection of new and used RVs in the Carolinas. Tour new 2025 RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Enter to win a new RV and enjoy family fun and on-site activities. Don't miss the Carolina RV Super Show at your local Camping World, May 15th through the 18th. Get all the details at campingworld.com/Carolina RV Super Show.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Well, at the University of North Carolina, or when he took a college job, you and I both know the mixing and matching of that is not quite as clearly defined as it might be in the National Football League.
Right.
And that's what has happened, obviously, here in Chapel Hill, is that some of the abstract things that are of no bearing on winning and losing games have become the storyline here, and all the University of North Carolina wants, and quite frankly, all anybody wants who covers ACC football is, can we just get to the football portion of this program?
West Durham from yesterday. Gosh. What a great get. He's the best. Chip Patterson, also great get. The best. He will join us in 15 minutes. So, lots to discuss. Obviously, Canes from last night. We'll get to that a little bit. There is also basketball from last night. And as many things as we can get to right now as we run it back. I'm not going to start with the Canes. I'm going to start with 2 bits of sort of breaking news. I don't know if it's worth playing the breaking news sounder, but we've already referenced Steph Curry. According to Shams Charania from ESPN, the Warriors say that Curry has a grade 1 hamstring strain, which is mild, as hamstring strains go. By the way, saying hamstring strain gives me a hamstring strain.
Not easy, especially on little sleep.
Woo! They say he is going to miss at least a week. He has never had a muscle injury, so they don't know. He does not know how quickly he can recover. I don't think we're going to see him in this series. So can the Warriors overcome a better team, Minnesota, a bigger team, a more athletic team, without their best player? That's going to be hard. I don't think they can. I don't think they will. I'd love to see it because watching Steph Curry play is, it's where it's at. So there is that. Now, according to Matt Norlander of CBSSports.com, friend of the program, covers college basketball, ACC athletic directors have approved an 18-game conference basketball schedule. And the assumption is that the 18-game schedule, because there are 18 teams playing basketball in the league, means that each team will have one partner that they play twice, and they will play everybody else one time each. If that is true, that is awful. NC State and Carolina should play twice, just like NC State and Wake Forest should play twice. Honestly, just like NC State and Duke should play twice. All the Big Four schools should play each other twice. There is zero reason why State must play SMU. No reason at all why they have to play SMU or Cal or Stanford or heck Pitt. No reason for any of those games. I mean, I get it, they're in the league. I don't know what it's going to take. But we talked about this with West Durham yesterday. We're going to talk about it with Chip Patterson. Your schedule should be made for only two reasons. In terms of your conference schedule, your conference schedule should be made for two reasons and two reasons only. What does TV want?
Money, all the money, and viewership.
What does TV want to see from you, from our partner, the ACC? I want these games that have some meat to them, meaning to them. NC State, SMU, no meaning. At all, no meaning. NC State, Carolina, meaning. NC State, Duke, meaning. These are the games we can sell. We ain't selling NC State and SMU. We're not selling Miami and SMU, for crying out loud. We got to be smarter. You schedule for television and for your fans. Trying to game the system, trick it into inviting more of your teams to the NCAA tournament is not it. Frankly, I would go back to 16 games in my conference schedule, and in terms of the scheduled games, and then leave 2 open weekdays to create matchups that are good for TV, that are standings based. I wouldn't even plan on playing 18 conference games. You're going to, but I would schedule 16 and then set up 2 matchups that benefit the league in terms of the actual matchup in the middle of the season. That's what I would do, but that's why I ain't ever going to be the commissioner. All right, to the Hurricanes. Report from practice today, Mark Jankowski, who did leave with an undisclosed injury in the middle of the second period, late in the second period maybe, of Game 1, will be a game-time decision tomorrow. Says he's feeling better. Remember, the Hurricanes did not practice today. I'm pretty sure they'll skate tomorrow, but that doesn't mean that Jankowski will skate and not play. So maybe we'll find out at the morning skate tomorrow. I'll just say this. If I were Rod Brindamore, and he will not ask my advice, if I were Rod Brindamore, if Jankowski couldn't go tomorrow, I would play Tyson Jost. This is not an editorial comment about Jack Roslovic. It's just that he is not a defensive-minded player, and that is putting it mildly. And that line actually was targeted by Spencer Carberry last night. And Jankowski, Robinson, and as it started, I believe Carrier, that line was really difficult for Washington to deal with. If Roslovic goes in place of Jankowski, I believe that Washington will abuse it. So there you go. I'd play Tyson Jost instead of Jack Roslovic. I'm not saying Carolina doesn't need offense. You always need offense. But I said this yesterday. On the road, I'd play a better defensive-minded lineup than an offensive-minded lineup. On home ice, you can play Roslovic all day long. That's fine. I got no problem with it. But on the road, nah. I'd put Jost in the game over Roslovic. But Carolina's got a 1-0 series lead. Jacob Slavin, Logan Stankoven with goals. And tonight, oh, by the way, Edmonton also won Game 1 over Vegas on the road. You know, the NBA road teams are 5-0 in the second round of the playoffs.
Wow, look at them.
We don't have a home team with a win yet. The Pacers are 2-0. The Knicks also won in the East. The Nuggets, who will be at Oklahoma City tonight, and the Warriors won their game ones on the road. The Celtics are talking as though, like, first of all, Boston is a way better team than New York. But I did see something last night that struck me as potentially true, in that this version of the Knicks might be better than any team Boston played en route to winning the title last year. I mean, part of it could be, look, the draw broke beautifully for them. Then they played Indiana in the Eastern Conference Finals. So, yeah, if the Knicks make it difficult, Boston did miss 45 three-pointers in Game 1. 45. One thing that is not about basketball or hockey that I wanted to pass along. So we had the Kentucky Derby on Saturday.
We did.
Are you a Derby watcher?
I mean, I missed it this one, but I'll watch it if it's on.
I watched the race.
Yeah.
I did not intend to, but when they tell you that the race will start at 6:50.
Yeah.
And it starts at 7:00 something or whatever it was never on time. Like, I thought I was clear of it. Oh, look, the race hasn't been run yet.
Yeah.
So let's watch it.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the mud, sloppy track.
Ooh.
But Sovereignty upset the overwhelming favorite, Journalism. Journalism finished second. They dueled down the stretch. Sovereignty won that duel. Sovereignty will not be in the Preakness. It's not going to run the second jewel of the Triple Crown. So we will not have a Triple Crown winner because they are not sending their horse to Preakness. All right, now, two things for me, two reasons why. One, these animals are fragile. I'm not saying that with 2 weeks in between, there's always been 2 weeks between the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness. And years ago, nobody ever complained. Like, we're just going to Preakness.
Mm-hmm.
But these are valuable investments, and they don't want to break them, even though they're probably risking their lives anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe if the sport wants to maintain Preakness as the second jewel of the Triple Crown, maybe they push it out a little bit.
Right.
Maybe they put an extra week in between the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness. There's already an extra week between the Preakness and the Belmont. Belmont, by the way, not run at Belmont. It's at Saratoga Springs.
Makes no
that
sense.
might be because of renovations to the track. But Saratoga Springs, by the way, is gorgeous. Way better looking than Belmont. I've been to both. The trainer of the horse of Sovereignty said they are going to be at the Belmont. It's a closer.
Right.
The horse is very good at longer distances. The Belmont's 1.5 miles.
Didn't they say this horse had like a scratch or something they called it, that they were giving him a break?
Oh, he might
between Preakness. I feel like I heard that's why they're giving him a break.
Yes, he had a knock. It's a game time decision. Here's the thing. Having been to Preakness, I hope I'm not offending anybody here. It's a dump.
Oh, no.
It's awful, but it's a great party. It's an amazing party. I loved going when I lived in Baltimore.
Maybe that's why no one cares, because it's a party.
Pimlico, it needs so much work. Every element, I know they're going to do it. Every element needs so much work. I think that's probably a bigger reason why we don't. Preakness fields have never been great. I'll just leave it at that. Get to work on Pimlico.
Yeah.
Do that so you can keep getting good horses. Chip Patterson, speaking of good horses, he is the morning line favorite on Wednesdays all the time. He joins us next.
From the heels
Touchdown, Carolina!
to the canes.
She scores!
He covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
The draft tells me one thing for Bryce Young and the Panthers. It's put up or shut up time for the quarterback. They needed edge rushers. They needed safeties, corners, linebackers. So what did they do with the 8th overall pick? They got the number 1 wide receiver on their board. That is a message to Bryce. You better perform this year or else.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
May is Motorcycle Awareness Month as we head into a heavier riding season. I'm Victoria Vodenecker here from 99.9 The Fan for Law Tigers, and there are people who will ride all year long. But around this time of the year, you're going to start seeing those motorcycle communities multiply on our roadways. So for riders, it's important to always stay aware of your surroundings. But for people in vehicles, you also have a responsibility too to not follow a motorcycle too closely. They don't have the exterior shell to protect them in case of an accident like you do. Now, we definitely want to prevent any accident, but if you do get into an accident on your motorcycle, make sure to call Law Tigers first before calling your insurance company. At Law Tigers, they're riders too, and they understand what you're going through. Case evaluations are always free, so you won't pay a dime until your case is settled. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
August 11th is National 811 Day. 811 is the first step to getting your buried underground utilities like gas, electric, or internet lines located. Having these lines marked before digging helps keep you, your family, and your neighborhood safe. Play it safe when you plan on digging and call or click 811 3 working days before you dig. Learn more at nc811.org. Sponsored by North Carolina 811 and the North Carolina Association of Broadcasters in cooperation with the station.
Carolina Baseball hosts the NC State Wolfpack this weekend at Boshamer Stadium for a 3-game matchup. This series begins Thursday, May 8th at 6 p.m. The first 750 fans in attendance will get the last trading card pack of the 2025 Diamond Heels. The second game of the series is May 9th at 6 with fireworks and Michael Bush bobblehead night. The series finale and senior day is Sunday, May 11th at 1 p.m. Tickets for this rivalry series are going fast, so get your tickets today at GoHeels.com.
Are your monthly bills keeping you up at night, wondering how you got so behind? Hey, I'm Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. I get it. Life is expensive now. Insurance, groceries, cars. And then there's the credit card debt with those obscene interest rates. It's time to regain your financial freedom, and that's what we offer at Loan Pronto using the power of the equity in your home. We have multiple ways to get you the cash you need, and most clients close in 2 weeks or less, and many don't even require an appraisal. And listen, rates have been plummeting recently. We just locked a homeowner in with an APR in the low 5s, saving her over $1,000 per month, and put $10,000 in her pocket. Life-changing money. Whether you're drowning in debt, have a nosebleed rate you got last year, need home improvements, or simply need cash in your pocket, we can help you accomplish this goal in record time. Call us today and get started with no hard credit pull, just a conversation. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. That's LoanPronto.com.
Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler? Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event. Up to 50% off, plus free home delivery. Limited time. Exclusively to Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
This is Adam Gold.
He doesn't have many years to choose from.
No, and part of that was COVID. Nobody's picking COVID.
COVID was a great year.
Yeah.
Look, if you invested in Zoom,
oh, that was a good year. Yes.
You had a good year during COVID.
Yep.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. Hurricanes 1-0 in Washington. They'll be there tomorrow night for Game 2. I looked it up. If the road team wins Game 1 in the NHL in a best-of-7 series, they have a 56.2% chance of winning the series. Something to that effect. 56.2. Wait, I'll tell you very quickly so we can get that. We have hockeyreference.com is just the best. If the road team wins Game 1, 56.2% of the time they go on to win the series. You know what that means? 0.
Yep.
0. Don't tell me what has happened. Tell me what will happen. I think we're going to be here a long time, but good start. Chip Patterson, CBSSports.com, Cover 3 podcast moderator, the man who has the Chipalytics. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. I mean, just shining, just a great night. It's so funny you say 56.2. That is probably close to the implied probabilities of the series price.
Right.
Because they were probably minus 120 or minus 115 slight series price before game one even started.
No, it was better.
140?
It was 170.
Yeah, geez. Well, that's even so what you're telling me is if we actually use history, then the odds have gotten worse. Okay, because if the implied probabilities before game one even starts are better than that, and now they're 56.2, we got to throw the record books out.
The two series in the West were very, very tight. Dallas was a slight favorite. Vegas and Edmonton, I believe, were even money. Both Carolina and Florida were pretty sizable favorites. Florida was a little bit better. I think Florida was minus 180. I thought Carolina was minus 170. Depending on which site you use, Florida and Carolina might have been the same, minus 175. I saw that. But look, shocking to me, but you know how the lines are set. They use a lot of analytical data.
Which the Hurricanes play out well. I mean, it makes them a very frustrating futures bet, right? Because they're always going to end up loving the computers. By the way, implied odds of minus 170, 62.9%.
Yeah. I mean, there were a lot of people that thought that Carolina was just better, and that clearly the analytics say, according to Vegas, that the Hurricanes are. Look, I hope Vegas is right.
Right. Well, especially now, I was just looking at FanDuel Sportsbook where you can make every moment more. Now it's up to minus 420. I mean, that's a little. I'm not into doing emotional hedges when it comes to the Hurricanes. I'm a straight ahead looker.
I am. I'm all about emotional hedges. What is Washington right now?
Plus 320.
Oh my gosh, I might be all over that.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. No.
I'm happy to donate the money, Chip.
Nope. The action of doing it is creating the energy in the universe that we do not need.
Okay.
One last hockey thing before we can take this wherever you want.
All right.
I was working through some pregame anxiety, and I just was like, can I sit down and can I write out all of the playoff runs by opponent since 2019?
Okay.
So I sit down and I write Caps, Islanders, Bruins. Then I do the next line and I go through and just totally blind, Preds, question mark. I had a couple of ones that I wasn't so sure about.
Right.
Almost nailed them all, except I flip-flopped Islanders and Devils in 2023 before the Panthers and the Eastern Conference Finals. Right. To which my friend Tom Fernelli said that the Panthers series was my Vietnam, and that I've come back with brain troubles and a loss, and I have never quite recovered. I don't remember anything. And I said, Caps 2019 is our World War II. Panthers 2023 is our Vietnam, complete with the exceptionalism at the beginning and the total disaster at the end.
Yes, because we started with, 4 overtimes? Gosh.
It was 6, right? Or was it 4?
It was 4 overtimes. It lost right at the end of the 4th overtime.
I know. I was there.
Yeah, so was I. I made the editorial decision to not do the podcast after the game because we were there too late. It was 3:00 in the morning before we were leaving. Remember, that game started at 8. It didn't start at 7 because the conference finals will all start at 8:00 unless we're talking about a weekend game, in which case it might start at 7.
You know what? We're not placing any emotional hedges because we hope to find out what that 8:00 puck drop feels like.
I will say, though, that Washington plus 325 does definitely pique my interest, but I'm not in deference to you.
Thank you.
And out of immense respect for your view of the universe, the vibes, I'll stay away from it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You got all right. So news today from Matt Norlander, your colleague at CBSSports.com, who does the Eye on College Basketball podcast with Gary Parrish, says that the ACC has agreed to lower their basketball men's basketball schedules. I have no idea if this applies to the women's schedules or not. But to lower their basketball schedule amount from 20 to 18, and this will almost certainly include just one home and home. So Duke and Carolina will still play twice, but State and Carolina will only play once. State's home and home will be with Wake Forest. What do you make of that? I am not at all thrilled with this.
I am not. Number one, I'm not convinced that this helps the goal of getting more teams in the NCAA tournament.
Thank you.
Number two, I think fans lose here.
Thank you.
If you're going to be like so excited about all these great programs, well, if you're a fan, it's frustrating only having less opportunities. And I understand that, especially for a season ticket holder, dropping 2 games means you're just losing one home game, and you're saying like, hey, Chip, we're just talking about one game, but it creates distance in just the number of times that you're going to be able to see the rest of the league. No, here locally, just one game between North Carolina and NC State in men's basketball is disappointing.
Imagine the year where the State-Carolina game is not in Raleigh. So most State fans, some will be able to go because you'll be able to get tickets. But most State fans, well, you're not bringing 18,000 people. State fans to Chapel Hill, or 15,000 people. You're going to bring 3,000 at best, right? Probably a lot less than that. So yeah, it's a major loss. But let me ask you this question, because I kind of heard where you were going. I don't understand why we have to play every team in the league during the course of a season. I don't see any value at all to putting State and SMU on the court together. Like, I'm not saying they shouldn't play, but I don't think they have to play. I don't think State has to play Cal. I don't think State has to play Pitt. Like, there are certain teams you have to play and you should play twice. I don't get the point in making every team play every other team.
Well, we know that you are the first person to come up with scheduling on the fly.
Yeah, I would love to see it.
Even before it was done in the pandemic, and Coastal Carolina and BYU put a game together on Thursday and played it on a Saturday. Adam Gold was here first, and he said, we don't need to schedule these things out like this. We can figure these things out. Let's put together matchups that will create good competition. The best teams play against the best teams. I hear you. I think that ultimately ACC is probably looking up at the conference that just had the best season ever and produced a national champion.
Right.
And they're just putting in some monkey see, monkey do. Well, the SEC plays 18 games.
Right.
So let's go play 18 games. And if you want somebody to go, I'm going to pick a random team out of the hat. Let's see if this backs it up. Texas A&M wasn't a good example. But if you were to have somebody go and fill those spots with good quality games that help their standing and are competitive, that's great. If you have somebody go, what was it, Iowa State a couple years ago, like 351 strength of schedule or something bananas. Like if somebody just wants to pad in some more wins, then they can do that. What these schools do with the 2 extra games will depend on where you stand and what your goals are. But I still don't think that this is going to make you like the SEC just because you've copied how many games the SEC plays in the league schedule.
Do you think the SEC got 14 teams in the field because they play 18 conference games? No. They got 14 teams in the field because they had 14 teams that were good enough to get in the field. The ACC only sent, what did we send, 4? And Carolina went to the first 4. We sent 4 teams to the field, not because we played 20 conference games, but because we weren't good. It's so stupid, silly that I just don't understand. I just think the league is getting bad advice. I think in basketball you schedule for two real reasons. You schedule to make your television partner the happiest it could be, and you give them the matchups that you think they want. So I don't care about rotation. I don't care about equity, and this goes for football too. A sport, by the way, where you don't play everybody. So we already have precedent that you don't have to play everybody every year. But I would schedule for TV and to make my fans happy. That's all I would do. I don't care about anything else. I think gaming the system isn't it. And that's the way I hear it, is that they're trying to trick the committee into thinking you're better rather than simply doing the hard work and getting better.
So, our mutual friend Joe Giglio brought up a great point, pointing to the Duke-Illinois game.
Yeah.
That even though, everything is done by the time conference play starts and things are locked in, there is still a selection committee, right?
Right.
I mean, there is a little bit of there is still a little bit of the subjective that is still very much a part of the NCAA tournament selection process. I would like, and this was Giglio's suggestion, the time in the schedule to get out of non-conference play and play a really good non-conference game. What was it? Early February.
Duke's going to do it again this year.
Yeah, if this is one thing that we see a lot of teams do, that could raise the profile of the whole conference.
Right, but we won't. Right, West Durham, we won't see it. West Durham yesterday suggested we take the ACC-SEC challenge and move it to the week before the Super Bowl, like between the conference championship games and the Super Bowl, and play your big ACC-SEC challenge then. That's fine. But that's something that is really out of the league's control. I'm really concerned with just the conference part of this schedule. I think teams should schedule smarter. Like North Carolina overscheduled themselves this year, and I don't know that it was intentional. It turned out that they went to Maui in a year where they had, 3 of the 5 best teams in the country there. It turned out that Florida wasn't good. Florida was national championship good in the game they played there. And the SEC-ACC game happened to be, I guess that was the Alabama game. I mean, it was kind of unfortunate for them. The Kansas thing they didn't really need to play, right? Was Kansas in Maui, or was Kansas, right?
All right. You are the University of North Carolina. You just won the ACC regular season championship.
Right.
You were the 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. Disappointing to lose in the Sweet 16 as the 1 seed, no doubt. But I have no issue with scheduling like you are one of the 5 best teams in the country at that spot. Now they fell short. They failed.
Right, by a lot.
But scheduling wise, I would
I
would rather see teams like that take the Duke approach to scheduling, and that was very much that kind of schedule.
Right. No, I understand, but you have to know that you're going to have a better roster going into the season, and maybe that's just the failure of it all. And they had the schedule's already in place. They thought they would have a better roster. Man, their roster had no chance with that. As it turned out, Kansas wasn't nearly as good as we thought, even though Duke also lost to Kansas. But maybe that using UNC is a bad example. The ACC.
They also lost. What was it? They were right there against Florida. They were right there against Kansas.
Florida's a team that built their way into this season.
Right.
They didn't have a great non-conference schedule. Heck, Carolina might have been the best non-conference game they played.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't real intimately know the Gators' schedule. But what I would do if I were running the league, and I'm available if they ever want to consult me on this, I would play fewer conference games, not more. I would schedule 16, not 18. I would leave 2 midweeks open to, not randomly, but to manufacture league games that would count in the standings that are among teams that should play each other at that point based on the level of competition. I would create those matchups, which would be great for TV. I would do that. So that would get me to 18. I would say in your non-conference schedule, if you want to be an NCAA tournament team, don't put anybody on your schedule that is routinely ranked in the 200s. Don't do it. Like, cap it at 200. Because those games, when you play teams that are ranked in the 300s, and most of the times these schools play like 4 of them, Like, all you're doing is damaging your own power rating. Don't do that. If you can't beat teams on your own floor that are in like 175, well, then you ain't good enough anyway. And why are we trying to trick the system? Schedule smarter. Those bye games should be better games. And you don't have to go crazy scheduling because ultimately your record is probably the most important thing anyway. But again, I go back to scheduling for your fans and scheduling for TV.
Yeah. And they're told how to schedule for television. That's
right.
There's always going to be that heavy influence in the room.
You think ESPN is saying, hey, Jim, meaning Jim Phillips, we really need that SMU Wake Forest game?
Well, I think that's where the math is being done on giving up conference games. I mean, I am not privy to those decisions, but a conference game by contract is something that your media rights partner knows money can and will be made. It is a cost certainty situation. By giving up conference games, there needs to be either written or at least implied the idea that some of the games that will replace those conference games will be games of more value than what they had with your routine run-of-the-mill ACC game.
So, Chip Patterson, as always on a Wednesday. I saw this yesterday. I'm fascinated by it. I'm sure it's been out there for a lot longer than this. First I saw it. I've been kind of focused on whether it's NFL draft or the Hurricanes or whatever. I don't know if you know this, Rory McIlroy won the Masters. Did Ian Shefflin is going to play
tight end?
The tight end. Dabo Sweeney said he could play any position he wanted, basically. He's going to be a tight end on the Tigers football team?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he ain't no Julius Peppers, all right? Like, when it comes to great two-sport athletes in ACC history. But I think this speaks to something that is going on right now with our friends in the upstate. I think that Dabo Sweeney has doubled down on all of the old school Daboism. Like, he's made it through the fires of people yelling at him and him yelling back, and he's taking key transfer portal additions, right? You know, like he's using the transfer portal, but he's only using it when they actually have roster spots. So he's, doing it his way. They don't lose a lot of players to the transfer portal. I mean, University of North Carolina lost 50 players.
Is that amazing that Clemson doesn't lose a lot of players?
And they're good players, too. They've got potentially 5 or 6 first-round NFL draft picks on this roster.
I saw somebody said they had 4 of the top 10.
That's a lot being put at the feet of Cade Klubnik or Antonio Williams.
You know how I feel about Cade Klubnik, but still.
But the point is, I love that they've doubled down, and this is old school. It is old school to have your football coach be a diehard fan of your basketball team and your baseball team and showing up to every daggum athletic event like you're a mini athletic director. I mean, it is old school in the way that when at Clemson's rival South Carolina, Ray Tanner, right? Ray Tanner being the athletic director, they're just fully in like everything that's going on. And it's a little collegiate, it is like, hey, well, come on now. You ain't got no more eligibility in basketball. You're 6'7". You got a nice hindquarters. Let's have you go do the jump ball drill.
He's right.
And like Danny Canales and I were talking about it on the Cover 3 podcast. And, he's very intimately familiar with the Clemson basketball program from Ben Middlebrooks, his nephew, being a part there and following ACC basketball. That Clemson team, they rebound. And they're tough.
Right.
Like you don't think the power forward from an old, tough, nasty, good rebounding team is not going to be able to go out there and hold his own? I don't know if he's going to do anything except catch a touchdown pass when they play Charlotte. Like whatever their group of 5 military appreciation day game is.
Chip
but
Patterson,
I think it's going to be fun.
I watched Antonio Yates play basketball for Kent State.
In the tournament?
In the NCAA tournament.
Yep.
I had no idea that he was ever going to play football. I don't know if he played football at Kent State. They have a football team. I don't believe he did. But all I know is the next time I saw Antonio Yates, he was catching touchdown passes from Phillip Rivers, and I went, holy cow. It was remarkable to me. All right, real quick, because you wrote it for CBS Sports. Notre Dame and Clemson in this 12-year scheduling arrangement, which I do believe will be repeated in some way, shape, or form with Florida State and Miami over time. You say that this is great for Notre Dame and bad for any reasoning for them to ever join a conference.
Yeah,
Explain.
It is remarkable the way that this sport continues to bend the knee to the Fighting Irish.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they are going to be able to be independent and pick and choose what they want for as long as they want for the foreseeable future. Before we get to the ACC specific part of it all, because there's one part of this story that has not been confirmed and is a little bit up in the air, but it could make this even more absurd, at least in terms of being Notre Dame. But the line on independence from Notre Dame, and this is going back to athletic directors, and it's maintained the company line, we will continue to be independent as long as we are not impacted with filling out a schedule with quality competition, number one, and number two, access to the college football playoff.
Right.
Well, in the current college football playoff proposals, whether it is the 14 team or the 16 team, the 4-4-2-2-1-1 hike, they call Notre Dame is guaranteed a spot as long as it is a top 14 team.
Right.
Notre Dame has finished outside of the top 14 twice in the last 10 seasons.
Right.
With the way Marcus Freeman has this thing humming, they get out of bed, they tie their shoes, and as long as they don't trip over their own 2 feet walking out the front door, they're getting in a car that's going right to the college football playoff.
Unless their schedule is difficult.
But you know what makes it easier? When you got a 12-year deal with Clemson. And
does it make it easier? Clemson should be good. It makes it easier when they're playing. This is why I believe getting Florida State and Miami on board with that too actually works against that entity, because what has made it easier for Notre Dame is the rest of the ACC has, I'm not saying no chance against this Notre Dame team, kind of no chance. You go back a few years and Duke went there and won, and Carolina won, and State won. But
Notre Dame,
this ACC isn't going to beat Notre Dame, but for like 2 teams.
Yeah, and Notre Dame largely has there's a spot in its game notes that they copy and paste all the 5 times that they play.
Yeah.
And the cumulative record since the agreement went into place is that Notre Dame has something absurd like a 75 or 80% winning percentage in their ACC games.
Yep.
I mean,
and here's me, Commissioner. Sorry, I love you, Duke. You're not playing Notre Dame.
So
we're not bringing the Irish here so you can sell 31,000 tickets.
Obviously, Jim Phillips, PhD, is a huge fan of this show, and he is able to listen on this unprecedented statewide platform.
Yes.
The ACC maintains that in this agreement with Clemson, the years that were already agreed to, which the years that were already on the books for them in the rotation, will count for Notre Dame's 5 games.
Yeah.
The ones that were not previously on the schedule will not count. Notre Dame, according to Yahoo Sports, I've reached out myself. Let me get my pocket protector out.
Right.
I've reached out to Notre Dame for comment, and I have not heard back.
Yeah, it won't take away other opportunity for ACC schools,
but it might.
Right.
The first reporting from Yahoo Sports on this said, and the ACC rotation will need to be adjusted in the future. Then the ACC said, no, it doesn't need to be adjusted. And the final adjustment to Ross's Yahoo report is this is a, quote, ongoing discussion. The first time it might become an issue is 2029.
What I read was that it was going to be above and beyond the current ACC agreement.
Correct. I think that Notre Dame wants to have these games count. I think that Notre Dame wants this. I think Notre Dame wants to pick and choose its ACC 5. I think Notre Dame wants to play Clemson every year. I think they want to rotate in some Florida State and Miami. They'll get in their Boston College. They'll get in their Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
I don't think Notre Dame wants to the Stanford, obviously another rival that they've got with historic rivalries. I don't think Notre Dame wants to go to Winston-Salem anymore.
I don't blame them.
I think I don't think Notre Dame wants to have a football schedule with UVA on it. Like, I think that Notre Dame, going back to the idea that the whole college football world is bending the knee, I think that Notre Dame would like to be able to continue. Yeah, ACC, we'll do our ACC 5, but we get to pick the 5. And the leverage here is that it benefits the ACC for Notre Dame to be playing only the best teams in the ACC.
It does. I'm on board with it. If I'm Jim Phillips. By the way, I can't wear a tie like Jim. Jim wears great ties.
Great ties.
I'm Jim Phillips. Notre Dame, I'm going to give you the full menu. You give me the 8 or 9 schools that you really want to play on a regular basis. Tell me. I'll make it happen.
But
I might make you play a Duke or a Wake, but we'll send them to you in those particular seasons. But give me the schools you want to play that benefit you, because that benefits the ACC. It doesn't benefit the ACC to get your school squashed by Notre Dame. It doesn't.
And the world has changed, but when this announcement was agreed upon and John Swofford talked about it being a win-win, a big part of that was Wake Forest and UVA getting to sell tickets, single game and season ticket packages that included Notre Dame's coming to town.
Bring somebody else in and sell season ticket packages. I want to make Notre Dame happy. I'm that guy. I think the agreement works as well or better for the ACC than it does for Notre Dame. I really do.
So there would be, if Notre Dame is given in the next couple of years the ability to pick and choose their 5, then the terms as it was initially pitched are going to leave a lot of members of the conference behind. And that's exactly what the new revenue distribution model is doing, where everything becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, because we're going to benefit the teams that draw the biggest ratings, and the same teams are going to get the same windows that get you the biggest ratings. Mm-hmm. And now we're going to let Notre Dame only be playing against the biggest brands, which makes it even less likely that one of those other schools is going to get good ratings, because you're not going to get a game against Notre Dame. I mean, it is 100% rigged revenue distribution, where whether it's like ratings or success initiatives or anything, it is all built in a way that is going to create the gap from the top and the bottom of the ACC, which, for my money, the gap from the top and the bottom of the ACC, I think, is larger than any other power conference.
Yep.
It's only going to make the gap further.
And I'm okay with it.
This is analysis, okay?
I'm okay with that.
This is analysis. This is not opinion. This is analysis. This is just the way that I think it's going to go.
I want to string this along as far as they can take it, because I do believe the entire system's blowing up in a handful of years anyway, and we're not even going to have to be worried. I think we're probably having this discussion, and it's all temporary.
I mean, like in the column that you referenced, I use the example of like, hey, look, who knows whether any of this is around in 2036, right. But in 2036, Notre Dame has 5 scheduled ACC opponents.
And they might have them. They might have those 5, but it'll be Florida State, Miami, Clemson, North Carolina, and Stanford.
That sounds like something Notre Dame. Yeah, it sounds like something Notre Dame would take.
I'm sorry, I'm good with it. Yeah, I'm good also with you, as always. Chip Patterson, CBSSports.com, Cover 3 podcast moderator, my friend. I'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good. Y'all be well.
All right, we'll come back. We got a lot to do. My gosh. Remind me, Victoria, when we get into those conversations that I know are going to be. I mean, really, because I thought that was good, right?
Yeah.
Well, I want to get to that sooner, so we don't do this to the clock. All right, we'll come back. We have to stretch and place bets. John Forslund next hour. Next.
Making more sports sense than social media trolls. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
During the sports season, the Governor's Highway Safety Program would like to remind you to buckle your seatbelt when traveling to and from athletic events. Wearing a seatbelt is your best defense against injury or death in a crash. Prioritize your safety and buckle up. Every seat, every time. Remember, click it or ticket. It's the law. This message is brought to you by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association and the Governor's Highway Safety Program.
There's no party like an all-star party. The NASCAR All-Star Race roars into North Wilkesboro Speedway. It's back May 16 through 18 for a no-holds-barred, old-fashioned mountain showdown. NASCAR's biggest stars going for all the money and bragging rights under the lights. At one of racing's most iconic tracks, metal will bend, dreams will end, and the fun? Well, that doesn't stop all weekend. Kick your May into high gear. Get your tickets today at northwilkesborospeedway.com.
Imagine a school where you could study AI and ancient Egypt, become a National Honor Student, join a cooking club, or code the next big video game, and do it all in a comfortable space. Your own home. Welcome to NC Cyber Academy, a K-12 tuition-free virtual charter school that provides you with a flexible, personalized education designed to prepare you for college and a career. Visit myncca.com and discover a learning experience that works for you, your family, and your future.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, you're more than a policy, you're family. With offices in every county, we're close by when it matters most. Our local agents customize coverage to fit your life. And our award-winning claims team delivers fast, quality repairs. It's no surprise Forbes ranked us the #1 auto insurer in America. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Do you know someone who's lost a loved one to overdose? Every day, the disease of addiction is taking lives and devastating families. But this crisis is preventable. Join the Governor's Institute in the Be a Superhero in the Overdose Battle campaign. Together, we can spread awareness, fight stigma, and save lives. Learn the signs of overdose. Know how to help. Visit governorsinstitute.org/superhero today, because doing nothing shouldn't be an option. Be a hero. Take action. Save a life.
It's not about the cars, the speed, the action. It's not about the party or the long weekend. It's about them, the ones that gave everything. This Memorial Day weekend, we honor the fallen at America's Home for Racing.
The 66th running of the Coca-Cola 600.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Chocolate lovers are going absolutely bananas over our new Bluebell Banana Fudge. Rich milk chocolate ice cream swirled with a scrumptious banana-flavored ice cream. Your favorite banana fudge bar, now in a carton.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Gold. Gold.
Because if interrupting is part of the talent, then she wins.
Giving an RBF face? Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, everybody saw it.
I didn't say it. I
that picture
did not say that.
When they were asking Bill and she interrupts him and they look at her, that's evil. Like,
yeah.
I was waiting for the lights to come out of her pupils.
You're not wrong.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria. Producing this program, John Forslund joins us in about 20 minutes. Looking forward to that. We have enough time to stretch and place bets.
Oh, I need to turn my mic on. So today we'll do this one, and then I'll get to the other ones for tomorrow. So today, this I don't have to deal so much with because I just don't fly anywhere. But I know you were talking about your family using airlines.
Yeah.
Today, is the day that you need to have the real ID now, apparently, to fly.
Yeah.
And
well,
so,
there are ways you don't need it, but still.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, their TSA is saying it's going to be a real big pain in the butt now moving forward if you don't have a real ID. But they do say you should bring as many forms of ID as possible with your picture, ideally, because just a driver's license on its own apparently is not good enough anymore. So just some examples. A passport's always good. U.S. Department of Defense for federal employees and contractors, a permanent resident card, or if you're a vet, you might have some kind of identification. But just prepare yourself if you're flying this summer that it's going to be now even more fun to do it. So allow yourself like 3 hours, apparently.
I don't know why a real ID is better than a driver's license, but whatever.
Dude,
whatever.
It seems unnecessary.
Yes.
But you know what's not unnecessary? Are really good bets.
Place your bets. Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you one.
By the way, I told you that Barca and Inter were going to go extra time, so you had to bet a draw.
Yeah.
If you bet the draw, I got you plus 270.
Oh, there you go.
Just saying.
Well, starting things off, Florida Panthers, Maple Leafs. They are still in Toronto, but I think the Panthers are going to do a bounce-back game. So give me the Panthers to win, and I will take the under 5.5 because I think Bob's going to be on lockdown, so that's plus 220.
All right, we're going to give you Toronto to take game 2 as well over Florida. I still think Florida's winning the series. Toronto and over 5.5 plus 272.
Okay, the opposite of mine. So the Stars.
I haven't been right forever, so.
The Stars and the Jets are also on tonight. I'm going to go with the Jets. If they can put a lasso on Rantanen, that'll be good for them. So give me the Jets, and I'll take the over 5.5. That's plus 225.
All right, I like over, but I'm going with Dallas instead, plus 226. All right, now, because the Champions League is great, Arsenal will win the match and advance. Arsenal's going to do it.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Do you ever go to the Carolina Hurricanes games and find yourself thinking, what do the players eat before the game? What are their pregame rituals? What kind of music gets them pumped up ahead of the game? How sacred is the game day nap? What's the postgame mood on the team plane? Check out my new podcast, Iced Tea, with me, Megan LaMontagne. I get to talk to people who spill the tea on the Carolina Hurricanes. Listen to Iced Tea in any podcast app or watch the show on the Fan YouTube channel.
What? New scratch-offs are out? That means new chances to become a North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club member.
Yeah, in the Winners Club, I'll reinvent myself. I won't go by just plain Todd. I'll go by Toddrick. I'll get a gold jacket, play my saxophone again. I'll stop and smell the flowers, call my mom more.
Oh, wrap it up, Todd.
It's Toddrick.
This month's scratch-offs pack over $100 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.35 to 4.58. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and I am in studio with my friend Jeff Hoffman from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. So I have a front door. If it never opened, I wouldn't know because I haven't used it. But front doors, that's the start of your house. You have a lot of options when it comes to doors.
Absolutely. The front door is the focal point of the house. Give us an opportunity to come out. We'll sit down with an iPad, actually develop the door for you. A couple different door styles or types to choose from, but then there's multiple styles that you can apply to that actual door. We can put it on the iPad to where it puts the image on the house, so you can sit there and as you're changing it, you're going to see what it looks like on the house. From the paint, the hardware, the glass packages, just anything that you need. And of course, it's going to be installed by certified Provia installers.
Well, again, does it have to open? Because I don't know that I've ever walked through it.
Yes, Adam, you'll have company. You'll need it to open.
All right, you do back doors, you do storm doors, all sorts of doors as well.
Absolutely. Sliding doors, French doors, patio doors, whatever you need, we can get it taken care of.
800-672-4348, aluminumcompany.com.
Make your next tailgate more electric when you plug into a new Ford F-150 or Super Duty truck. Not only do they light up the scoreboard with outstanding payload and towing numbers, with available Pro Power on board, you can turn these Ford trucks into mobile generators to give your tailgate party an extra boost of energy.
Visit your Carolina Ford dealer or buyfordnow.com for great offers and to learn more about F-150 and Super Duty. See Owner's Manual for important operating instructions.
If Heineken Silver was a 60-second radio ad, it'd tell you all the stuff you need to know in only 30 seconds to keep things light and refreshing. Seriously, time me. Heineken Silver, a world-class light beer that's surprisingly crisp and refreshing. Made with only premium quality ingredients and just 2.9 grams of carbs and 95 calories. All without compromising on taste. Heineken Silver. Order now at Heineken.com/silver. Must be 21 and older to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly. Whew. 30 seconds. That's it. Done. Peace.
Every second counts in a poison emergency. That's why Poison Help is standing by 24/7 to provide free assistance in over 100 languages. Save Poison Help as a contact in your phone today. Poison Help. 1-800-222-1222.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler? Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event. Up to 50% off, plus free home delivery. Limited time. Exclusively to Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Jarvis has it into the Washington zone. He'll wrap it around the boards. Orlov will get to it. Behind the net, Martinook. It'll come out. Right point. Slavin with a chance. They score! They score! In overtime! Jacob Slavin lets it go from the point, and Carolina has taken game number 1 here in Washington.
Yeah, well, so that was fun. Come on. What's not fun about that?
I know. If you're going to go into overtime, at least win. And
right.
they did.
And get it over with quickly.
Yes.
Because who wants to be there any later than you have to?
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Exactly.
All right. John Forslund joins us in 15 minutes. We will talk not only about Carolina 2, Washington 1 in overtime. We'll try to hit on the other 3 series as well, including why the Los Angeles Kings might have unleashed the Western Conference's worst nightmare, and that is the Edmonton Oilers playing with house money.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to believe. I mean, they're getting good goaltending right now from Calvin Pickard.
Yeah.
And nobody saw that coming.
Well, and Jack Eichel was all over McDavid yesterday. I mean, those two just side by side. Oh, it was fun to watch. Very frustrating for McDavid, but he shook it off eventually.
His team won.
Mm-hmm. I know.
The team won. It's all that matters. And the further they go, man, they'll maybe their goaltending will get figured out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought Vegas was going to be the team to do it. Maybe not. All right, before we get to John Forslund, Wall of Sound.
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
All right, who scored the game winner? Jacob Slavin scored the game winner, and it gives Carolina some confidence and a road win.
Anytime you can get a win in a series, whether it's home or on the road, it's always a boost of confidence, especially get that first one. And it being on the road is huge for us and our momentum going forward. But like Roddy always talks about, it's one step. That's one step of the series, and so just keep chugging along.
Yep, Rod Brindamore is not the original, but he is all about one step at a time. To the point where I talked to Sebastian Aho on Saturday about, going to Washington for games 1 and 2, and he goes, just game 1, right? We don't know anything about game 2, so I don't even want to think about. Like, Aho wouldn't even think about they're going to play 2 games in Washington. He has as a group, he has them supremely focused on the task at hand. As for Jacob Slavin's goal, it is in many ways by design.
He's open, so he's not going to not shoot it. I mean, that's kind of the thought behind it. And we got some traffic, and you got to give. I don't know how many shot blocks they had, but they had a lot of blocks tonight. That's why they're a good team. They're one of the best because they're willing to do that, and you have to know that going in, and you have to also not be deterred by that, and you just got to keep putting it there, and because they're not giving you much of anything else. So, obviously, wasn't the greatest of goals, but they all count.
Yeah, it was a great goal because it was actually. This is how those types of shots are supposed to play out for Carolina. Now, if you watch the broadcast, all you heard was them essentially, as we got later into the second period, into the third, like sort of criticizing Carolina for shooting the puck from the blue line. These are just harmless shots. Yes, when there isn't traffic, they are. The best you can say about some of those shots is that you might get an offensive zone faceoff out of it. But the goal, that's what those shots are supposed to bring.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be layers of traffic in front of the net.
Right.
I thought for most of the night, Carolina was to the side of Logan Thompson. He saw everything.
Mm-hmm.
Those shots aren't beating an NHL goalie. So
you never know what's going to go in. So at least if it's heading that direction, could have a bounce. Somebody could redirect it.
Yeah, actually, speaking of bounce, there was a puck that got through Sergei Bobrovsky in Game 1 that bounced like 3 times and beat him. Should not have beaten him, but it did. But the Slavin shot, Jarvis and Stahl were in front of the net. And there were 2 defenders there. So that's 4 people who are in line with Slavin's shot and Logan Thompson. That becomes a good shot. It's not just hope. It becomes a good shot. So I'm all about keep doing that. But I think Carolina's got another level of their game to get to offensively, and hopefully we see it in Game 2. All right. Warriors won on the road, but it comes at a cost. Going into the series, I thought Minnesota was better. I thought they were bigger, more athletic, a problem for the Warriors, who looked like they were going to struggle and probably lose to Houston, but they gutted out a Game 7 on the road. Well, the cost was Steph Curry's hamstring. Steve Kerr, head coach of the Warriors, on Curry's status. This is last night.
Any general update on Steph? Any prognosis at all?
Just day to day. He'll get an MRI tomorrow.
Did you talk to him? Just what was?
Yeah, I talked to him at halftime. Just he's obviously crushed, but the guys picked him up and played a great game, and obviously we're all concerned about Steph, but it's part of the game. You just guys get hurt and you move on. Our guys did a great job of moving on and getting a great win.
Winning 3 more times without Steph Curry could be a problem. And by the way, Curry, they say, will be out at least a week. Here's Draymond Green on moving on potentially without him.
Obviously, things get tougher if we got to go forward without Steph, but it's the same mission. We're trying to keep this thing going, win as many games as we can. So, I'm not going to let that reality set in right now. We'll start figuring that out tomorrow. I'm going to enjoy this win tonight, rest up, recover, and we'll get back to the drawing board. Like I said earlier, I think we got the best coaching staff in the NBA. They'll put us in a position to be successful, and it's on us to go out there and perform.
If Buddy Hield keeps scoring nearly 30 points a game, they might be able to overcome it. But Buddy Hield had another one of those games last night. Speaking of another one of those games, I don't know what Tyrese Halliburton ended up with, but he made every play down the stretch for the Pacers as they rallied. They were down 117-110 with just over a minute to play in Cleveland and won the game. Before we let you hear from Tyrese Halliburton, I saw this stat. Teams that lead by at least 7 points in the final I think it's 2 minutes of an NBA game, not just a playoff game, but of an NBA game. I think it's more than it might be a minute. Lead by 7 points with a minute left or less. Were 7 and 1,380 all time. 2 of those 7 wins have come in this series. Pacers twice rallying to beat the Cavaliers. Tyrese Halliburton was serenaded with overrated chants as he was sticking the dagger in. Here's him after.
That one was unexpected. I didn't know we had beef, but yeah, I guess good for them, man. That came out of nowhere, but it's just, I think now that label's there, they're all, that's what it's going to be every time we play somebody. Every time on the road, he'll probably follow me until the next poll comes out, and then we'll see if I'm number 1 again. But, for me, I just control what I can, man. And, overrate that.
He is my favorite NBA postgame. I think he's funny. Legitimately, he will joke. Incredibly thoughtful. My favorite part of after game 1, when he said was being a point guard is like being the team's mom. You're always trying to do things for everybody else.
That's facts.
It was awesome.
I was a point guard when I played.
See?
Way back when, so he's on it.
It was awesome. I am team Tyrese Halliburton. The Cleveland Cavaliers, hey, look, they had the best record in the East by a wide margin. Up against it. The biggest problem for Cleveland isn't that they might be doubting themselves. They can say what they want. They are. The Pacers were in the Eastern Conference Finals a year ago. And in some ways, once you've done it once against all odds, you believe you're going to do it again. They've got, without assigning a player to a Jimmy Butler vibe, they've got a little Miami Heat in them. Rick Carlisle, by the way, is an excellent coach for this type of team. Pacers are going to be a problem for the Cavaliers. They're going to be a problem for Boston. I assume Boston will beat the Knicks in the next round. All right, when we come back, John Forslund, TNT, will tell you where you can listen to him and watch him next. And we'll talk Canes and the series tonight, which he will be dialed into. All of that next.
Talking sports, so you don't have to pretend to know stuff. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
The draft tells me one thing for Bryce Young and the Panthers. It's put up or shut up time for the quarterback. They needed edge rushers. They needed safeties, corners, linebackers. So what did they do with the 8th overall pick? They got the number 1 wide receiver on their board. That is a message to Bryce. You better perform this year or else.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
We just finished up Cinco de Mayo, but that's not the only thing happening in May. It's also Motorcycle Awareness Month. I'm Victoria Vodnecker here from 99.9 The Fan for Law Tigers, and as someone who's familiar with riding, I know to be aware of things like grass clippings after someone's just mowed their lawn or slick spots on a rainy day. But as we go into prime riding season, it's always important to remember to be cognizant of those distracted drivers and know where to go in case of an accident. Getting into a wreck is obviously never the outcome that we want, but if it happens, make sure that you call Law Tigers first before calling your insurance company. At Law Tigers, they're riders too, so they understand the lifestyle and the investment that you've made. The insurance company just wants to pay you the least amount possible. So at Law Tigers, case evaluations are always free and you're not going to pay a dime until your case is settled. So let's enjoy this beautiful season and stay safe out there. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
It's bow time. Yep, it's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles' Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned, Cajun-fried, whole breast tenderloin fillets. Choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Are your monthly bills keeping you up at night, wondering how you got so behind? Hey, I'm Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. I get it. Life is expensive now. Insurance, groceries, cars. And then there's the credit card debt with those obscene interest rates. It's time to regain your financial freedom, and that's what we offer at Loan Pronto using the power of the equity in your home. We have multiple ways to get you the cash you need, and most clients close in 2 weeks or less, and many don't even require an appraisal. And listen, rates have been plummeting recently. We just locked a homeowner in with an APR in the low 5s, saving her over $1,000 per month, and put $10,000 in her pocket. Life-changing money. Whether you're drowning in debt, have a nosebleed rate you got last year, need home improvements, or simply need cash in your pocket, we can help you accomplish this goal in record time. Call us today and get started with no hard credit pull, just a conversation. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. That's LoanPronto.com.
Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Progressive knows there are 2 things RV owners love: to travel and relax. And they like to take both nice and slow. Just like this commercial. And what's more relaxing than the peace of mind knowing their RV is protected by Progressive? Now here comes the fast part. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
This is Adam Gold.
Home runs are homers, not dingers, not jacks, not bombs. Can I use tater?
I know. Can we say going yard?
Oh, yes.
Right?
If we can't exaggerate, if we can't use colorful, flowery metaphors and descriptions, why are we here?
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria on the 1s and 2s. I can actually picture the one and only John Forslund in a white suit, the open collar.
Oh, yeah.
I can actually picture it.
A disco ball in the background.
Absolutely. And and the dance floor with the flashing colored lights. John Forslund, TNT, the voice of the Seattle Kraken, joins us on the Adam Gold Show. I know you will be locked in tonight because games 3 and 4 in Florida of the Leafs and the Panthers will be a John Forslund event. This is going to be a great series. First of all, thank you very much for your time. I do want to talk about that. How are you?
Yes. Well, let me just say, based on the visual you just described, I think you've lost your audience. So,
no.
You think we've gained some traction?
I
with
know.
That
I know
Saturday
the
Night Fever.
Our audience has now thought about, you know what? I see a little bit of a John Travolta, John Forslund resemblance.
Okay. As long as I'm not, we're really dating ourselves here. As long as I'm not Horseshack, I think we're okay.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
You are not a sweat hog, John Forslund. All right, let me start. Before we get to the Panthers and the Maple Leafs, because I'm fascinated by that game tonight. What was your read on last night in Washington?
I was pretty impressed. I was pretty impressed on how well the Canes came out of the gate. They took over the game right off the hop. They controlled possession. That was pretty obvious. As the game went along, they just stayed true to their system. They didn't get frustrated. They frustrated Washington. Now, did Washington play poorly? Yes. We'll find out tomorrow night if Spencer Carberry can adjust their game. to what he should be expecting. You know, I don't think they were surprised by the way the Hurricanes play. Nobody is.
No.
Everybody knows what's coming, what style of game it is. It's how you handle it. Can they handle it? Can they break the puck out efficiently? Can they get to their forecheck better? Can they be a little bit smarter with their physicality than they were? You're not going to run around and hit people without a purpose and win this series. That's not going to work. And you got to have your skating boots on. And to me, they look slow. Are they slow? We'll find out. We'll find out as the series goes along, but I thought Rod had them ready to go. And, Anderson wasn't called upon to do much, but he made some really, really good saves when needed. A couple of goal posts, but the Canes hit the pipe too.
Yeah.
And the only thing I will say is that outnumbered chance, Dubois and Wilson at the very beginning of the game. If that goes in the net, does the game take a turn? Who knows, right? But that's just something to think about because there were some moments within the game, Ryan Leonard's breakaway, there were some moments within the game that were not good for the Hurricanes, even though it looked like a letter-perfect Hurricanes game. But it's good to win on the road. They got it. We'll see where it goes.
I talked about that Ryan Leonard chance on the podcast last night. You have to be impressed. The tape-to-tape pass from Gostisbehere to Leonard, that was a dynamite setup. I don't think Shane really wanted to do that, but it looked like he was trying. It was just. I'm like, what are you doing, Shane?
Yeah, I know. He's so good. He even does it well with the other team. Yeah. No, it's just a lot of these things are spatial plays.
Yeah.
And as we watch the games, whether it be off the television or if we're in person, it looks like mindless plays, right? But they're usually plays made to space, and it's so quick down there. These guys don't have time to think, and it looks like an egregious turnover, which that was. But sometimes there's a reason behind it.
Yeah, you referenced it. I thought Freddie Anderson maybe made the two best saves of the night, as well as Logan Thompson played, and I thought he played very well. I didn't think Carolina made him make too many great saves, but the save on Anthony Beauvillier after maybe Carolina's worst moment in their own end, which was a Jordan Stahl turnover that ended up on the stick of Beauvillier, that was a great blocker save. And then on Washington's first power play, Alexander Ovechkin's only shot on goal, I believe, was the shot through Tom Wilson's stick. Although maybe because it hit Tom Wilson's stick, that wasn't the Ovechkin shot. It becomes a Wilson shot instead. But that was a very good save by Anderson. I thought those were the two best moments that he had. Real quick, just to put a wrap on the Canes from last night, to an extent anyway, is that I thought for all of their puck possession that Carolina had another gear offensively to turn those into better scoring opportunities. So, the Slavin shot on goal, which won, that's the way those are designed, through traffic. And I didn't think, for the most part, for the first three periods, Carolina had good traffic in front of Thompson. I thought he saw basically everything from deep.
I felt the same way as I watched the game, and I was getting frustrated by the constant references to shot attempts and all these different things. In game one, Florida-Toronto, on some of these statistics, Florida had 61 shot attempts in that game. The Maple Leafs had 34. The Maple Leafs actually had 10 scoring chances as opposed to 8 by Florida. So my point is, sometimes those shot attempts, which will always favor the Hurricanes, the way they play, will always be in their favor. They'll always outshoot the opponent. They'll always have more attempts, end zone time, and all these different things. But it's how you do it. And maybe that's a good thing for them, too, because you always want to come out of a game when you win with something that the coach can get to. And, maybe that's what Rod will address as they get into game two, because now it's a little bit of house money when you win that first game on the road. Boy, you're in a good spot, going into game two. You're in a really good spot because there's a ton of pressure on Washington tomorrow night.
One more thing about the Hurricanes with John Forslund. I go back to game 4 against the Devils. Andrei Svechnikov had a hat trick, and I thought the goals that he scored were the least of why he was great in that game. It was how he went about the business of playing. I thought he was better in game 5 and scored just the one. He didn't even get on the score sheet last night, and I thought he and Aho were both excellent in the game in how they went about playing. So, to me, Andre doesn't need to score. You want him to score because he's one of your best players, but he can impact the game without it.
100%. And they, the very, very beginning of the game, the stall line gets out there, and it was Martinook that threw an open ice hit on Sandin and floored him. And that's when I knew that the team was going to be starting the game, as they say, on time. But I think those guys, just following the leadership shift after shift, and then you get to Aho. And, as the playoffs are going along here, there's better and better signs within his game. He's always going to have the points. He's always going to be statistically involved in every series. But Sebastian too has another gear. We've talked about that before, and I thought Svetch was in and around the game all night long last night. Crossbars, unleashing his shot, no penalties. Just shaking his head and getting out of scrums. Those are good signs. When you see the trying too hard, because I think his heart's in the right place, but sometimes it shows up with him in the penalty box. That's not a good thing.
All right, now let's get to the series you're going to get game 3 and 4 very close to in Florida. And I texted you this before. I really thought the difference, I thought Toronto was better in game 1, and I thought they deserved to win. So I don't think the outcome necessarily changes. But I think Bobrovsky really wasn't very good for Florida in game 1. And I thought that the first goal, the first Nylander goal, and the fourth goal, the Tanev goal, I mean, those just can't go past Bobrovsky. And I thought that was where the game was lost.
No, and yes, the bouncer from Tanev is one thing. But that first goal 33 seconds in, again, you're giving up the short side. Oh, and you're giving up a lot of it.
Yeah.
And Nylander's going to hit it all the time. So he will be better, I would assume, tonight. And if he's not, he has in his career gone through these roller coaster rides. Even when he's at his best, even that great playoff run in 23. When he got to the final, it wasn't too great to start against Vegas, and then he wasn't as good as he was against the Hurricanes. That's for sure. So this is what you get with him as elite and future Hall of Famer that he is. You're going to have an erratic game every once in a while. Hopefully for Florida, they're thinking that's a one-off. We'll find out tonight. Of course, Anthony Stolarz is not going to be in goal for Toronto tonight. So Joseph Woll will have, a lot of pressure on him. But I like the Leafs. I really thought in the first round watching Florida, how they played against Tampa, is like, they've found it. At the start of the playoffs, I'm really on this Leafs bandwagon. Maybe I've seen them too much during the regular season with all these Amazon games, but I've been around him a lot. I've been around Craig Berube a lot, and I really respect what he's been able to do with the same group, basically. He's got them to play harder. He's got them to play the fine and tangible details that you need to win in the playoffs. We'll see where it goes, but this is a different group. This is different than it's been in the past.
I do agree with you. It's a much more gritty group than they have had in the past. They didn't even get they didn't really get much out of Marner and Matthews in the Game 1 win. It was a lot of Nylander, and it was a lot of, Michael Nahas is a grimy type player, but a super talented one. John Forslund is joining us here. He'll have games 3 and 4 of Florida-Toronto on TNT. And then we'll see him Monday in Raleigh for Game 4. You'll be doing that on the radio. Let me ask you about the fact that Toronto has to go to their second goaltender with Stolarz. Didn't skate this morning. He is not going to play. And I know that there's a lot of talk about Sam Bennett and the forearm/elbow to Anthony Stolarz, the side of his head. I watched that, and clearly there was contact, and there should have been a penalty. And I liken it not in the same exact way, but similar to what Timo Meier did with Freddie Anderson, in that there's clear contact. And the goaltenders were not being protected by the referees in that situation. I really thought that the problem for Stolarz likely happened when he took the puck off the mast in the first period. I didn't think there was a ton of contact with, at least not forcible contact with Bennett.
Well, sometimes just a brush in the right spot can trigger a problem, right? So if you're a Canes fan and you go all the way back in the time machine with us, You remember a kid by the name of David Tanabe, right?
Yes.
And we remember that it was just a brush on the bottom of his chin that finished his career.
Yeah.
He never played again. So when you get the head trauma and concussions, and nothing's been said about that, so we're just speculating, but based on the hit, the puck off the mask, the side brush, and I think he tucked his elbow in. Sure, there's contact. We talked about it with Meyer. All these plays are accidentally on purpose. You're going to go to the net. You're going to hit the goalie. You might run the goalie. It's a hard sport. It's up to the officials. The anger and angst needs to be pointed at the officials to make the call, to get that out of a series. Otherwise, Florida's going to do it tonight again, and Toronto might do it to Florida. They might get in Bob's face tonight. Who knows? It's up to the officials to legislate all of that. But so getting back to your point, it doesn't take much for a player, and I'm not sure on his history, but I think he has some history with that too. And then we saw him get sick at the bench, and all is really, really sad. But we'll see. We'll see where that all goes. But I did not have a problem in that individual situation with Sam Bennett on the play there. Yeah. I just think he was making a play. He made contact in the blue. You can call that. You can call goaltender interference. I don't think there was malicious intent, attempt to injure, elbow to the head. No, there was contact in the blue. That's a penalty.
Yeah.
That's a penalty in itself.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And it was interesting listening to Paul Maurice. They asked him after the game, they asked him what he thought, what did he see, and he goes, I didn't have as good a view as the official who was right there. And look, it's tailor-made for Mo to not answer the question. It's perfect. But, I mean, in a way, Mo's right. Like, I think it's a blown call. Yeah. But it is what it is at this point.
Right. And that's exactly right. And it's just as much, what Mo says is one thing, and then what Berube says by saying, it's an elbow to the head. He's just setting the table for the rest of the series.
Correct.
And that's what he's doing there. So
right.
War of words. That's
John Forslund is joining us. A couple of more minutes, and then we'll let him go. Did the Los Angeles Kings unleash a monster on the West by basically allowing Edmonton to play with house money? That was a Kings series. The Kings should have won that series in 5, and they lost the series in 6. Now Edmonton is just, they're flying.
Listen, you just have to give that team, and most importantly, the two best players, one of the two best of the top 5 players in the world, an opportunity to smell a series and smell a game, and it's over. And that's basically what happened when they went for a challenge in Game 3 on the goal scored by Evander Kane against L.A. And Jim Hiller, their coach, went for it. Bad challenge. 8 seconds later, power play goal, Edmonton. And guess what? Series turns around. And L.A. dominated the series in many of the metrics, looked to be the better team, looked to be a lot of things. But they're not playing anymore, and Edmonton is. And look what Edmonton did last night. They were able to take advantage of a Vegas team that has a little bit of flu going through them. Right now, they're not 100%, but you throw all that out the window in the playoffs. The games are there to be played. We know how the players fight through just about anything to win the Stanley Cup. So everything's fair. And Vegas got the jump in the game, but Edmonton now is this is a team that's always under pressure. But in a way, I think by winning the first round, they've alleviated a lot of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, especially in the Edmonton market, are counting them out and didn't think they'd even get by LA in the first place. And here they are with their goaltending and their defense. And now they're in the second round. And again, when Draisaitl and McDavid get an opportunity to be involved, they're involved at a way different level than every other star player in the league.
Correct.
Including Makar and McKinnon.
Yep.
It's a different story. It's a way different story.
And final thing, do you remember a time where Mikko Rantanen was a disappointment to the Dallas Stars?
Oh my God. Yeah, it is just, isn't it incredible?
It really is.
It will really be an interesting, if they ever did a 30 and 30 on this or whatever, a mini doc on this whole thing, because more things are being said now coming out of Denver about how he got on the market in the first place. It's a very interesting situation, but that was, as my good friend Darryl Ray said, the Stars needed somebody to put a cape on, and Mikko did that. And we'll see where he takes that team, We'll see. They're getting healthier.
Yeah.
They're getting healthier. So,
yeah, they get Jason Robertson back tonight as that series starts. Miro Heiskanen will come in some point during the series.
Yep.
I wish we had seen that version of Mikko Rantanen here. We didn't. That's fine. I'm not even complaining.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Bee Gees, they slap.
At one point, as we go to break here, I believe the soundtrack to Saturday Night Fever was the second highest grossing album of all time.
Yeah.
At one point. I believe the first was Eagles' Greatest Hits 1.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was Saturday Night Fever. And then Thriller blew them all out of the water.
Oh, yeah, makes sense. Bee Gees had a lot of hits. I don't think some people realize how many hits they actually had. It was a lot.
Yes. How deep is your love? When we come back, at one point, the North Carolina Courage were not clicking. And then they beat the best team in the league, surprisingly. And now they have won 2 in a row. We're this close to a streak. Sean Nahas joins us next.
From the heels
Touchdown, Carolina.
to the canes.
She scores!
He covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, you're more than a policy, you're family. With offices in every county, we're close by when it matters most. Our local agents customize coverage to fit your life. And our award-winning claims team delivers fast, quality repairs. It's no surprise Forbes ranked us the #1 auto insurer in America. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
There's no party like an all-star party. The NASCAR All-Star Race roars into North Wilkesboro Speedway. It's back May 16 through 18 for a no-holds-barred, old-fashioned mountain showdown. NASCAR's biggest stars going for all the money and bragging rights under the lights at one of racing's most iconic tracks. Metal will bend, dreams will end, and the fun? Well, that doesn't stop all weekend. Kick your May into high gear. Get your tickets today at northwilkesborospeedway.com.
Imagine a school where you could study AI and Ancient Egypt, become a National Honor Student, join a cooking club, or code the next big video game, and do it all in a comfortable space. Your own home. Welcome to NC Cyber Academy, a K-12 tuition-free virtual charter school that provides you with a flexible, personalized education designed to prepare you for college and a career. Visit myncca.com and discover a learning experience that works for you, your family, and your future.
Every day, people battling addiction suffer in silence. Because of stigma, they fear judgment. They fear being labeled, and too often, they don't get the help they need. But you can help change that. Join the Governor's Institute and be a superhero in the overdose battle campaign. Learn how to break the stigma, support those in need, and save lives. Visit governorsinstitute.org/superhero to get involved. Be a hero, fight stigma, save a life.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Chocolate lovers are going absolutely bananas over our new Bluebell Banana Fudge. Rich milk chocolate ice cream swirled with a scrumptious banana-flavored ice cream. Your favorite banana fudge bar, now in a carton.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
To the people of North Carolina, for 70 years, you've helped to make PBS North Carolina a trusted friend in your home. We've watched history unfold with Henry Louis Gates Jr., explored new worlds with Mr. Rogers, and found treasures together on Antiques Roadshow. Your support has helped us continue teaching, entertaining, and inspiring generations. Celebrate with us when you watch new programming on PBS NC or stream anytime on the free PBS app. Learn more about PBS North Carolina at pbsnc.org.
During this sports season, the Governor's Highway Safety Program would like to remind you to buckle your seatbelt when traveling to and from athletic events. Wearing a seatbelt is your best defense against injury or death in a crash. Prioritize your safety and buckle up. Every seat, every time. Remember, click it or ticket. It's the law. This message is brought to you by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association and the Governor's Highway Safety Program.
This is Adam Gold.
And I did have to use two screens at one point, or a couple of points, and I don't like it. I can't watch two games at the same time.
There's a lot going on.
I'm sorry. I'm incapable of doing that. Because there were times where, I forgot this other game was on in front of me.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. We talked soccer yesterday, right? We had Will Palashik on.
Yeah.
We had the NCFC, Charlotte FC, U.S. Open Cup grudge match. We scared him into believing that NCFC could pull it off. Man, that was 0-0 heading to extra time. And then all of a sudden it just opened. 4-1 final. Craziness. The North Carolina Courage might have also been unleashed on the rest of the NWSL with that 3-2 win a couple of weeks ago against Kansas City Current, because all of a sudden it looks like they have unlocked some offense. Sean Nahas, the head coach, is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Is that what happened 2 weeks ago? Did the breakthrough maybe relax everybody? Because that was a pretty thorough, even though the score might have only been 2-0, it could have been worse if you're looking at it from a Royals perspective.
Yeah, you don't know. I mean, you'd hope that it's unlocked something, but I think it just, again, it takes the pressure off and it allows you just to go and do your thing and be free, and hopefully it all connects. So, 2 good weeks in a row, so hopefully we can make it 3.
So when good players have trouble scoring, is there a sense, whether it's with them or even with you, as you are putting these players out on the field, is there a sense that they're going to get to whatever number you probably thought they would get to, and that somebody is going to pay the price? So when a player like Ashley Sanchez starts scoring, do you think it just kind of evens out? Is that even a thing?
No, I think really what it came down to is at the beginning of the season, we just had Ash in the wrong spot. We tried something new. It didn't work. And, we moved her into the inside and into more of her comfort area. We tweaked a few things from a formation standpoint, and then that just frees up players. So you have to adjust in those moments, and we've done that. So I think that's what sort of allowed her just to go do her thing for sure.
Sean Nahas is joining us, North Carolina Courage head coach. I know you went to 3 at the back in the game out in Utah. First of all, what was the reasoning for it? And then we can kind of branch off that.
I mean, we did it against Kansas City as well. I think we ended up just realizing that the way the roster is built right now is that, the wide areas were, we didn't have players that were in their best positions, and we weren't enhancing the players' qualities. So, we had to tweak a few things and adjust a few things, and so far it's worked. And hopefully something is maintained, but that's our job, is based on the current roster build, what positions suit us the best, and how do we get the best out of the players that have those qualities.
So for people who don't necessarily know, maybe people who are, fans of a different sport, when you go to 3 at the back versus 4 at the back, for instance, how does that change what you are looking for and the role of, let's just say, an outside back or a wing? who plays now more of a midfield role?
It doesn't change much. I mean, the principles still stay the same. They're just coming from different areas, different lying areas, and I think that's the part that's most important, right? So, I think if the principles change and our style change, and that's different. It's the same numbers on the field, the same areas are being filled. It's just coming, and different players are filling those positions. So, at that stage, I think it's part of the process. So we're not really tweaking anything. It's just different players in those areas.
Sean Nahas is joining us, North Carolina Courage head coach. A few weeks ago, you were at or near the bottom of the table. Now you're up to 9th. We talked about just how close everything was. So in terms of, where your squad's collective head is at, what do the last 2 weeks do for them?
I mean, to be honest, nothing has phased them really all year. I think from an overall standpoint, they've handled everything really well. But I think, the result against Kansas City just took a lot of pressure off, and then as a result, they're able to play more free. And I think we saw that against Utah. So again, it's just you want to build momentum, you want to continue to grow, you want to continue to push, and you want to let this thing become a sort of a snowball. But yeah, I'm proud of the group for how they've handled everything and how they've managed everything, and go from there. But again, that comes from the locker room and the types of people and character that we have in there.
It's not easy, no matter how good you are. I mean, don't the best players go through confidence issues, no matter how good you are?
It's always a question mark, right? And they have such high standards, and they're trying to appease people, and they're trying to do everything at the highest level. And when you have those moments, I think you're always going to question yourself when things aren't going well, no matter who you are and what field you do. So I think that's innate. But when you have a group that has the same sense and the same purpose and has the same ideas, then I think that provides us some success and some room for some room for error, because you have the same commonality with what players want. So I think at that stage, I think it's important, and you keep everyone on the same path going forward.
When we talked to going into your game against Kansas City a couple of weeks ago, how good they were. Now you have the Orlando Pride coming in, and that means Barbara Banda. It means Marta. It means former Courage player Carson Pickett as well. So when you look at this team, what is your challenge coming up on Saturday night, which I'm told is going to very likely be a sellout?
Yeah, I think you just want to minimize their strengths, right, and the things they're trying to do. They're going to have moments where we're going to have to suffer without the ball, and but they're going to have those moments as well. So it's really what we do in possession, but also out of possession, and just being disciplined and keeping them in areas that we want to keep them that can be less dangerous to us. But I think overall, I think from that standpoint, I think we've been really excellent these last couple of weeks, and every team in this league is threatening and dangerous. It's just a matter of how do we minimize that, and then how do we be the best version of ourselves? And obviously doing that at home is always a bit easier for sure.
What makes Barbara so good? What is when you watch her, whether it's on video or watching a game, what makes her so good?
Well, I think it's all of it, right? I mean, her strength, her size, her speed, her ability on the ball. She's very dynamic. She understands the game. She can do things in different levels where she can drop in and get the ball. She can run in behind. But there's just a swagger about her, right, where she always believes that she's going to be dangerous. And I think from that point, she's someone that they always have to keep an eye on. But they have other pieces too. I mean, Marta's playing some of the best football of her career. They have pace in the wide areas. Look, they're defending champs for a reason. So it's really where do we put ourselves in that situation to give us the best chance for success.
And what do you expect from Wake Med Soccer Park coming up on Saturday night? We know how electric that place can be.
Yeah, I think anytime we can pack it out, it's always an extra motivator for us. I always think it's something that allows us to. It gives us that extra little burst when we need it. When we show up, we want to play for our fans, and we want to, give them something to cheer about. And I think we've done that the last couple of years. So
everyone's on top of the field, and people don't realize how electric it can be. But again, as a team, you have to give them something to cheer about. So hopefully we can do that this weekend with a sold-out crowd, and hopefully it's something that we can continue to build upon moving forward.
And no pets, right? No pets are involved this weekend?
No, none. Thank God. No.
Look, I love pets, man. I'm a pro pet guy. So if
that's okay.
If that's what it takes, but it's not going to take that coming up this week. I think people are going to be there not only to see Marta and Barbara Banda, but also a former player. And I thought Carson Pickett, and Carson Pickett was a great player for this team for a long time. All right, I hope you guys keep it going. Does it make practice easier?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's, anytime you have that momentum, they've been training well all year, but there's, again, just so much is lifted off them when you don't have this stress. And even as coaches, like, we can just continue to build on the momentum, and I think that helps alleviate those moments for the players for sure.
Do people show up earlier? Do the women show up earlier when things are going well?
To be honest, nothing's changed. I mean, they're here at the same time, and music's going. And I think it was just one of those things where they knew at some point it was going to turn, and just took a little bit of time, and we've gotten there. So now we can continue to push forward.
Good luck Saturday night against the Orlando Pride. Sean Nahas, North Carolina Courage head coach. 7:30 Wake Med Soccer Park, should be a blast. I appreciate your time, sir. Talk to you later.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You got it. Sean Nahas here on the Adam Gold Show. We have time for a rewind, don't we? Heck yeah. All right. Chip Patterson and I had a great conversation. I don't know how long that was, but that is definitely worth your time going to check it out on the Best of the Adam Gold Show podcast. I didn't even use air quotes.
I know.
In the Best of the Adam Gold Show podcast.
No.
I didn't use those at all. All right, so the ACC has approved a plan to go from 20 to 18 conference basketball games starting with this upcoming season. So, unfortunately, the drawback is that the way it's probably going to work is that State and Carolina will only play once, which is, to me, absolutely criminal. And here's where I get to. This is where we will jump in with this conversation with Chip Patterson. I don't think State has to play Cal or Pitt. There are certain teams you have to play, and you should play twice. I just don't get the point in making every team play every other team.
Well, we know that you are the first person to come up with scheduling on the fly.
Yeah, I would love to see it.
Even before it was done in the pandemic, and Coastal Carolina and BYU put a game together on Thursday and played it on a Saturday. Adam Gold was here first, and he said, "We don't need to schedule these things out like this. We can figure these things out. Let's put together matchups that will create the good competition. The best teams play against the best teams." I hear you. I think that ultimately ACC is probably looking up at the conference that just had the best season ever and produced a national champion.
Right.
And they're just putting in some monkey see, monkey do. Well, the SEC plays 18 games.
Right.
So let's go play 18 games. And if you want somebody to go, I'm going to pick a random team out of the hat. Let's see if this backs it up. Texas A&M wasn't a good example. But if you were to have somebody go and fill those spots with good quality games that help their standing and are competitive, that's great. If you have somebody go, what was it, Iowa State a couple years ago, like 351 strength of schedule or something bananas. Like if somebody just wants to pad in some more wins, then they can do that. What these schools do with the 2 extra games will depend on where you stand and what your goals are. But I still don't think that this is going to make you like the SEC just because you've copied how many games the SEC plays in the league schedule.
I do find it hysterical. Chip and I are in total alignment here. I'm just going to create a different scenario. Let's just randomly, that LeBron James loves pistachio ice cream. I don't understand why anybody would, but if, let's just say, given LeBron James loves pistachio ice cream, me, man, I want to be one of the best players in the NBA. I'm going to start eating pistachio ice cream.
That's the secret.
Lo and behold.
Right.
This is my point when it comes to scheduling. The hard work of getting better. If you're good, it doesn't matter what your schedule is. Doesn't matter how tough it is. Doesn't matter how many conference basketball games you play. If you are legitimately good, Duke didn't get hurt by playing 20 conference basketball games. I'll tell you what did get hurt. The ACC's conference schedule got hurt because 2 of those games were Duke versus Miami, which should have never been played once, let alone twice. We have to schedule for 2 things. Only 2 things. Don't schedule to game the system and make yourself more attractive theoretically to the NCAA tournament committee. You schedule for 2 reasons only. You schedule to make an attractive schedule that your TV partners would like, that they could go and sell. So the best matchups within your league. And you schedule for your fans. So what that means is, in basketball, State should be playing Duke twice, Wake twice, Carolina twice. The other stuff, I don't care. If State doesn't play SMU, if State doesn't play, heck, if they don't play Miami, who cares? You want to play the teams that matter to your fans. You want to play the games that matter to the league as a whole. Fairness shouldn't matter. Scheduling equity shouldn't matter. We don't have it anyway. Why try to achieve scheduling equity when you're not going to have it? Because home and road matters. Those things aren't going to be the same. Junk the games that don't matter to your fans or to the league's television partners. And make sure that we get the games that do matter to those 2 entities. As for getting more teams in the NCAA tournament, be better at ball. It's that simple. All right, we're out of here. Victoria, thank you very much.
Of course.
Tomorrow, we'll talk about the Hurricanes and the Capitals. Game dos. See ya.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
The draft tells me one thing for Bryce Young and the Panthers. It's put up or shut up time for the quarterback. They needed edge rushers. They needed safeties, corners, linebackers. So what did they do with the 8th overall pick? They got the number 1 wide receiver on their board. That is